Hello there, ladies, gentlemen, collectors, investors, sports enthusiasts, fans. I think that pretty much covers it.
You got everything, Mike.
And welcome to our live closing show for our Summer Platinum Night auction. And what a night it's going to be. It's one of the most incredible auctions we've ever put together, that we've ever seen, top to bottom. It's got everything. Ruth, Jordan, Davy Crockett, Luke Skywalker, the Three Stooges, Jackie Robinson, Wilt Chamberlain, whoever you want, we've got it. Over 1,000 items are closing tonight and tomorrow. Tonight is session 1. The premier items, some of the most iconic items in the hobby are going to find new hope.
They're right
new
behind
owners
us as
tonight,
well.
I know, and
This
they're
is
surrounding
amazing.
us here.
Yes.
We're very excited. So session 1, extended bidding, will begin at 10 p.m. Central Time. So you have about 2 hours to get your bids in for that. Tomorrow night, session 2 will close, same thing. Extended bidding will begin at 10 p.m. Central Time tomorrow night. And as always, on my right, the most boisterous, the most rambunctious, the most bear-huggingest guy in the industry, Mr. Tony Giese. Tony, are you excited?
Beef jerky, Mountain Dew. No, this
all
is so
amped
much
up.
fun. You put so much work into this, and then now this is going to be so much fun. I just can't wait to see all the bids coming in and all the action. I mean, there's so many quality items in this auction. This is amazing.
It is. We were just discussing that there's so many items in session 2 that a few years ago would have been on the cover of the catalog or
Absolutely.
some of the premier pieces. But huge thank you to our consigners who trusted us to put together such a large and impressive auction. And it's going to pay off tonight, and we're excited to see where all these items will find new homes. So tonight we're going to talk about the highlights, the momentous items, our favorites, those little ones in the crevices that might be getting overlooked. Shine
There's a
some
lot of
light on
favorites,
it.
though. There's a lot of favorites.
Yeah, it's a long
It's
list.
so hard to break
It's
this
a
down
long night
because
as
every
well.
single piece is so cool in this auction, and to break it down, it's very, very difficult. But we're gonna try to.
A lot of great stories, and who better to share their knowledge and stories of these than Heritage Sports Executive Vice President Joe Orlando. Joe, welcome, and thank you for joining us.
No, it's great to see you guys.
Yeah, definitely. Joe is out in California. If you'd like to see a Heritage rep in LA, he'd be happy to accommodate you. And Joe is one of the most respected and knowledgeable people in the industry, so we're happy to have him to shed some light on some of these huge items. Joe, what are your thoughts about the auction as a whole?
You know, it's exactly what you guys were just talking about. I know last year it's hard to compare to the August Platinum from a year ago, where we had a $12.6 million 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle. But I think this auction, I think we all agree that pound for pound, it's actually a better overall auction. There's elite items in virtually every category.
Yeah, no question. So, gentlemen, let's get right to it. There's a lot to talk about. And Joe, we're going to let you start it off. What's caught your eye?
Well, I have to start with one of the uniforms right behind you. I mean, let's dig into that 1958 home pinstripe Mickey Mantle.
It's intimidating sitting this close to it. I'll say that.
Right.
I know
The
how
finest mantle
I know
is
how
sitting next to us.
opposing pitchers felt.
Yeah, don't eat any Cheetos or anything around.
I promise, Joe.
We had him
none
wash his
today.
hands before he came in the room.
Oh, man. I mean, you know, this jersey, which is, as we've talked about previously, which has already set a record for a Mantle uniform at this point. I mean, when you think about, you know, bats, jerseys, gloves, you think about all the different boxes it could possibly check. And when you look at this jersey, okay, number one, it's 1958. So where does 1958 sort of fit in his overall career? In 56 and 57, he was back-to-back MVPs. Of course, in 56, he was a Triple Crown winner. He won his third MVP in 62. So this is really right in the heart of Mantle's prime. In addition, it was a world championship season. They avenged their loss against Milwaukee the previous year and won in 1958. So you have that. You have the state of preservation. So the key with a lot of uniforms, especially Yankee uniforms and home pinstripes, is that it was a common practice to reuse them in the minor leagues, spring training, that sort of thing. So what you end up seeing is you'll see jerseys out there in the marketplace, but the NY has been replaced. The number's been replaced. There's been modifications to the jersey, and they've been really put through the ringer. The state of preservation on this jersey is just spectacular. So when you add it all up, all the different boxes that this jersey can check, I mean, it is as nice as you're going to find. And what I would say to any bidder who has the financial wherewithal to bring this one home, don't take my word for it or Heritage's word for it. Look over the past quarter century of auctions. Pull up every record you can find and see how many home pinstripe mantles kind of fit the bill that can match this jersey in terms of caliber. If you don't bring this one home, you could be waiting another 10 or 20 years before another one, again, of this caliber comes available. So it really is that special of a piece. And I know at the National that, I was watching, our customers come by and all the oohs and ahs, hovering around that case. It is, this is a really historic relic, I mean, for sure.
No question. And the advent of photo matching has really helped it push past that record already. And it's not just photo matched, it has multiple photo matches, and they are some great ones. I love the opening day photo match when he's receiving the MVP award. It's also photo match to the Home Run Derby TV show, which if you've never seen, you should take a look. It's fantastic. And a great image of him and Willie Mays on that show wearing this jersey. So like you said, it checks every box. It's the finest Mantle jersey we've ever seen, and very excited to see where it ends up tonight.
And there's just so few of them out there, too.
Correct.
That's the thing. There's just so few of them out there. And to have the best of the best, we talk about it all the time. I mean, and this is the best Mantle that's going to ever sell, probably.
Yeah, and you brought up a key point, Mike. I mean, the fact that there are photo matches that start on opening day when he's receiving that MVP award and go all the way through the season and into the, past the season, into this Home Run Derby appearance. What that tells me, I'm just going to go out on a limb here, as more images are made available and published and online, we will probably have more photo matches of the very same jersey, because it would be very unlikely that a jersey he wore on opening day all the way through the season and into the off season could only be matched to this many images. So this is what it's been photo matched to so far. Who knows what the future holds, but I mean, it, like, in every respect, it just is just an awesome relic.
Yeah, it's one of those items we're lucky we see a lot of historic pieces here at Heritage, but one that when it came in, it just stops the whole office down and everyone has to take a look at it and examine it. So that's always a fun development here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So if you guys jump to another one, I know.
Yes, please.
We can talk about the Mantle jersey for an hour.
How do you follow that up? Let's find out.
Let's change sports. How about we go to the 1989-90 Magic Johnson game winner?
Oh yes.
So during that kind of late 80s, early 90s, if I recall correctly, it was basically Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan going back and forth with MVP awards for about 5 or 6 years, if I recall correctly. And this was, and by the way, this is, I think, going to be a recurring theme on the program here tonight as it relates to game-worn jerseys and bats, which we'll get to in a few minutes. But anytime you can pinpoint a game-worn, used item to a great era, a great game, a great performance, a great moment, it just elevates. And here, we talked about Mantle, the fact that was right in the middle of his prime. I mean, same thing is true here. I mean, this was right in the middle of perhaps Magic Johnson's best run with the Lakers, and that makes it sort of extra special, considering how incredible his career was. But this was really in that late 80s, again, early 90s period where he was just, I mean, he and Jordan were really going back and forth.
Yeah, and this one, as you said, also photo matched, and having a photo match is great, but it's even better when it's a great image, like we said with that Mantle jersey. And that match you can see right there, that could be a poster of
absolutely.
Magic Johnson right there. And then I love the other ones, a video shoot, and he was such a star. He was so charismatic. He was in LA, so I think that's a very fitting match too. And I just love to think about that he wore this in a game and then grabbed it to wear it to shoot a commercial or whatever.
Yeah. And it's so difficult to find these photo matched. You know what I mean? It takes so much effort to get that to photo match. And my goodness, I mean, Magic, Bird, all those guys, I mean, they made the NBA what it is today.
Absolutely.
And to have a photo match Magic, we did $1.5 million on the last one that we sold, and that was, of course, from the 1980 NBA Finals when he.
The finest Magic jersey. That
Yes,
exists.
absolutely. But this one here is a great, great shirt. Good wear too. So I mean, it's got everything that you could want on a Magic jersey.
Absolutely iconic piece. All right, you're on a roll, Joe. What else? What else you got? Don't slow down.
Yeah, keep going, Joe. We got like 2 more hours.
Yeah, I'm going to sound like an old man too, but I got to tell you, I mean, I think for the three of us, if you were around and you were a basketball fan during those 80s and 90s periods, it was so much fun. I mean, the game was. Again, I want to sound like that guy, right? Like, oh, in my day, this is the way it was. But really, I mean, and Magic was at the top. I mean, Magic and Jordan, but he was at the top. I mean, he was electric. He was such a well-rounded player too. I mean, he was the essence of the team guy. I mean, he could do everything, right? He could pass, he could score, he could rebound. I mean, and he was exciting to watch. Just a great game.
Yeah, always put on a show, and I think that's the impact he really had on all the fans.
That's right. So, yeah, let's bounce to another sport. Why don't we go to the 2011 Tom Brady game?
Yes.
Great taste. Great taste, Joe.
Hang all these on my wall.
We can tell that you don't hang things on your wall. So.
You're right. So I think what makes this Brady jersey extra special, in my opinion, beyond just the fact that it has a couple of photo matches, but as you said, Mike, a great shot of Brady, kind of straight on where you can't miss the match. I mean, it is just we had that on display. There it is, right there. We had it on display at the show at the National, and one of those can't miss definitive matches. It was to a victory against a division rival, the New York Jets. It was an excellent performance. It was his first 5,000-yard passing season as well. But to me, what kind of takes this to an even, sort of higher level, I would argue that this particular style, this retro throwback jersey,
He's right on that.
is probably the best looking Patriots jersey that he ever wore.
Agreed. And the only other era when the Patriots were competitive, essentially.
Other than 85, when they got killed in the Super Bowl.
But they made it. They made it there.
But it's just in terms of eye appeal, just the red. I mean, it's a tremendous looking jersey, and then you add in the fact again all of those other factors, and the fact that, by the way, kind of frightening that this was only the mid of his career, right? He had enough, whatever it was, 11 or 12 years left in him. But I think what's interesting about the 5,000-yard accomplishment back then as well is that I know that Tony, you're a big football fan. I mean, there are two things that are interesting about it to me. So the Patriots back in those days, they were at minimum a very well-balanced offense, if not run-heavy at times.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, there's game script. I mean, the Patriots were winning most of the time, so guess what happens in the second half? They run the ball even more. So we found out later in Brady's career when he went to the Bucs, in his mid-40s, by the way, that if he were allowed to air it out, I mean, who knows what his numbers would have been for the first 20 or so years of his career with the Pats. But it was a much different system. And so this was, for him, again, first 5,000-yard season during the 16-game season versus the 17-game today. But so many things to love about this jersey. And by the way, so many things to love about another jersey, because you can't talk about this jersey without talking about the 2011 Rob Gronkowski jersey from the same game,
Yes.
which is kind of remarkable. If we could pull that one up and talk about that a little. So, first of all, let me just get this out of the way. If you're going to go out of your way to win the Brady, please just buy the Gronk.
Yeah, they really deserve to be together.
On mannequins right
Yeah.
next to each other.
What are
Yep.
the chances that you have photo match jerseys of two of the greatest of all time from the same game? I mean, it's kind of remarkable. So, what's great about the Gronk jersey is that in 2011, if I recall correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, that was the year that he set the record for touchdowns by a tight end. I think he had 17 touchdowns that year.
Correct.
So that's it. I mean, so this is from a record-breaking season for Gronk, so kind of at the height of his powers, along with, again, Brady having an outstanding season and a nice performance and a victory against a division rival. Such a great pair of jerseys to own. And again, I hope that happens. We'll see at the end of the action, but I hope that they stay together because what a great pair of jerseys to have.
Most definitely, and so unique to have them from the same game and that beautiful throwback style. You've got the memorial patch.
For Kraft's wife. I mean,
yes.
so I mean, you've got all those things that you're tying together, and it's just, and good use too.
I wish we
on
could
that
just
Gronk.
throw the Gronk in with the Brady, but we can't do that. You'll have to actually go win it. But it's a little more affordable than the Brady. And, Brady jerseys are just so rarely seen on the auction block. This is the first full uniform we've ever offered. And we've only offered a handful of Brady jerseys. They just do not come out. And this is one of the finest that's ever been made available.
And those two guys are going to be linked together forever. I mean, it's like not only with the Pats, but of course when they reunited and won the Super Bowl with the Buccaneers. So it's just a great story. If you have the ability to keep them together, what a great pair.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
So this next one is for Tony. I'm gonna end the jersey talk, at least my jersey
Are
talk.
we talking about Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre or what?
Let's go 2012.
Or Jordan Love? Ooh.
Yeah, I'm bringing this up just for time. The reason I brought this up, I thought it was interesting because of what's happening in Aaron Rodgers' career right now. I mean, it's a great jersey on its own merit, terrific piece. Of course, Tony will start laughing when I say this, but it's against the Bears, and we all know that Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears, right? So,
Yes, that is correct.
He loves.
You're right, Joe.
He loves himself. So it's got there's a little comical sort of element involved here too. But I think what's interesting here is we were just talking about Brady. If Aaron Rodgers could kind of pull a Brady here after being in Green Bay for so long, going to what most people view as a contender, a very talented team, and do something special this year, then I think it adds to Rodgers' legacy.
To everything.
I think he has that opportunity in front of him. And so it'll be interesting to see at the end of this season and perhaps the next couple of seasons to see how long Aaron plays. But he's in that position right now. He's kind of where Brady was when he left. Again, being in one place for such a long time. And he keeps himself in great shape. And he has a talented roster around him as well. So it'll be really interesting to see what he could do this year. And I think that might put him in a different light in terms of all-time greats going forward. We all know he already has the talent and the statistics and all that, but could he wrangle another Super Bowl or two? Who knows? I mean, so there's an interesting opportunity ahead for him.
I agree, and I think it would be even bigger than Brady winning with the Bucs because it's in New York, the media capital of the world.
Yep.
And such a long-suffering franchise.
They've been so bad for so long.
They made a couple
and to
AFC
win.
championship games, but they have not been back to the Super Bowl. It would be gigantic. And the very talented team, they have Breece Hall. They just signed Dalvin Cook. Talented defense, so it's going to be very interesting. They're on Hard Knocks. And
he's very motivated,
He's
too.
playing nice on Hard Knocks.
He's very motivated, but again, on that jersey, that patch on there too, it's so cool, the Hall of Fame patch. I mean, that just sets it apart from most of the other
and
jerseys
a
from
win
Rodgers.
over the Bears. He had a great game.
And awesome use on the side. You can see the hit marks and all that kind of stuff too.
He got sacked a few times. He had a few rushes, so good wear on there.
Yeah, Mike, as you stated, it's remarkable the similarities in terms of between Brady and Rodgers in terms of the opportunity, except what you said, which is this is on the big stage. If he can pull it off in New York, I mean, who knows? We'll be looking back a year from now, and Aaron Rodgers will be even hotter than he is right now, in terms of his material.
And he's got the one Super Bowl, which is great, of course, but it puts you at another tier when you get that second Super Bowl because so few quarterbacks have done it twice.
Right. No. So really exciting opportunity there. So if we could jump to bats, stay in the game used world, but jump to bats and go to the 1955 to 59 Ted Williams bat. We could talk about that for a little bit and a few other bats if we have time here. So this bat's really interesting. We've talked about Ted Williams bats on the program here before. In terms of checking the different boxes from a player characteristic standpoint, this bat is absolutely terrific. I remember when I was walking in the ball, I think Dan as well, and we saw this bat on one of the racks. It was inbound consignment along with some other bats, and it just jumped out to us. It's got a great vintage 9 on the knob. It is absolutely pounded with use. Now, we've talked about Williams was primarily a label down guy most of his career. This bat is pounded, labeled down, and it's also pounded on the other side too, which likely means that he liked the bat so much that when he obliterated the hitting zone on the labeled down side of the barrel, he just turned it over and kept using it. Another real key feature you see there is you see that darkening from the base of the handle all the way up through the center brand. That is likely the olive oil rosin combination, the remnants of it. And what Williams would do is he would take a rag, put some rubbing alcohol on it, and clean the handle once that olive oil rosin combination or mixture would build up too much, because he didn't want to alter the weight of the bat too much as it built. So he would clean it off. You can see that very distinct darkening, again, the middle of the bat all the way down to the knob. And on top of everything else here, and if we could pull up this one image, there is a vintage signature of Ted Williams. There it is right there. It doesn't leap out because it's not super big, and it's in kind of an interesting spot on the bat. But that is a vintage Ted Williams signature, which means it is likely that when he was using this during the period, he autographed it to someone and gave it to them. So that's kind of, I think, an interesting kind of icing on the cake or cherry on top to this really terrific overall game.
Great note and good eye on the autograph there.
I didn't even know it.
But that's a great addition to the story that some lucky fan likely got it at the time and he signed it at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So another one we could jump to if possible is the 61 to 63 Roberto Clemente gamer. So for Clemente, I guess let's start with kind of the rarity of different eras of his bats. So as you guys know, Heritage has sold a few of them. The moment bats from the 1950s through the 1960s, they tend to go for a ton of money, a huge premium, because they're very, very rare. And there's also an interesting story behind the whole Moment nickname that was given to Roberto at a young age. This is right after, so this bat was manufactured right after they won the World Series in 1960, 61 to 63, and you definitely do not see nearly as many pre-1965 Clemente bats as you do 65 to his career and life. So it is actually definitely a more scarce period for Clemente. What's really interesting about this, in addition to the vintage 21 on the knob, by the way, if you're looking at that photo, you're probably wondering, is that 21? Just if you rotate the image around, you can see the 2. It's actually upside down. There's a 2 there and a 1. That is a 21 right there. But Clemente went through different periods of his career. He would use pine tar and then not use pine tar as much. This one happens to have a really nice coating of pine tar on it. And what that does, it just adds a little extra eye appeal, kind of like the X factor for bat collectors. When you have it on the wall, you're putting it in someone's hand, there's something about grip tape, pine tar, those type attributes from a visual standpoint that just add just again another layer to an already great bat. That is tremendous use. It's got the 21 on the knob. It's a really scarce period versus most of the known Clemente bats. Just a really great bat all the way around.
Yeah, I was actually looking at it yesterday, and you're right, it has great aesthetics. Just a beautiful looking bat, and quite rare, as you said as well.
And that flare knob.
Yes.
That
I
flare
don't know how
knob
he
just
did that.
makes it so cool. Just adds such a point to it. It really does.
Yeah, it's very, very, yeah, there it is right there. Just, yeah, super cool. Very, very, very. Another bat we could jump into real quick is the 65 to 68 Killebrew bat, Harmon Killebrew. And, for Killebrew, if the listeners weren't aware, the leader in home runs for the decade was Harmon Killebrew. It wasn't Aaron, it wasn't Mays. Mantle was sort of coming to the end of his career, but Harmon Killebrew led the 1960s in home runs. So this was his time. I think he hit 40 or more home runs in 6 separate seasons, I believe, during the decade. So this is right in the heart of his prime. And again, we've talked about being able to pinpoint bats and jerseys to great periods for players and performance. So Killebrew was, a beast during this period. So this is one of the most well-rounded bats in the whole auction. It's got a beautiful autograph and inscription on it. It has excellent use. It has this classic pine tar pattern all over the hand. And on the knob of the bat, if we could blow that up real quickly, you'll see a fading 3, but then a little 2 right next to it. What the 2 stands for, and I think we've covered this on your program before, for Killebrew, he would put the ounces. So this bat was approximately 32 ounces at the time of manufacture. So he would put that on there. So when the bats were in the rack, and he had a game that day, he could decide, depending on who he was facing, how he was feeling, he wanted to go with a 32 ounce, 3 ounce, 1 ounce, and pull it right out of the rack. So really just a tremendous all-around bat for Killebrew, and from the heart of his best run as a power hitter.
Joe dropping some knowledge as always. I did not know that note about
That Killebrew, the most home runs in that decade. I had no idea.
I'm going to win some bar bets with that one right there. I'll tell you that. But yeah, very underrated as well. And we don't see a lot of Killebrew bats, but he's one of the greatest players of all time, as you just proved, and definitely something, if you're a bat collector, that you should have in your collection. One from him.
Yeah, no, he really just a fearsome guy. He struck fear, just his whole presence. And his nickname, the Killer. I mean, it's great. Another bat we can jump into real quick if we have time is the 1980 Mike Schmidt gamer. This is one of my picks for one of the most potentially overlooked bats in the entire auction. Now, if we want to have an argument, who is the best third baseman of all time, it begins and ends with Mike Schmidt. I mean, he did everything: 10 Gold Gloves, multiple MVPs, World Series champion, perennial All-Star. He could run when he was younger before his knees started to give out. I mean, he in terms of just overall ability, he's the best ever. And this is pinpointed to 1980, which was a tremendous year for him. It's a World Championship year. It's autographed, has excellent use. It has a nice fine car on there, turning on the knob and kind of fading red, so it has a real nice look to it. Mike Schmidt, for whatever reason, even though he is sort of the unquestioned best third baseman of all time, his bats and jerseys they appear to be kind of lagging versus other players from the period and other greats of all time. I mean, again, you could probably tell it by the sound of my voice how I feel about Mike Schmidt. Just incredible. And this is an incredible bat. Now, one of the coolest aspects of this bat, if you could go to the full-length shot of it from the front, if you blow it up, and you can see that there's that little you can see where it's tape ring, kind of right there, exactly. Boom. So what he would do, he had a signature contract with Adirondack at the time. So when he would use Louisville Sluggers on TV in the game, he would he would sometimes put a red ringlet of tape around it to disguise it to make it look like it was an Adirondack. So
He's right on that. Yep. Wow.
from the company. So you'll see on occasion you'll see Louisville Sluggers with the red tape intact. Here you can clearly see the outline of where the tape was, but that's kind of in the same place that the Adirondack red ring would appear. So just again, kind of a funny part of the story. It's a great bat on its own merit, but you add that in, and it's just a great part of the story of what Schmidt was doing to disguise his Louisville Sluggers when he was playing in the game.
Very clever, and I would agree. His material is kind of underrated. We have a great Schmidt game-worn jersey in the auction as well, the blue style, which is a fantastic
The powder
example.
blue.
Yeah,
Such
powder
a
blue.
beautiful look. Such a beautiful look. I love the powder blues.
So we have time for two other quick ones.
Let's do it. Keep going. We're not going to stop. We got all night.
Keep going, Joe.
I know there's so much to get to. So, 1998, it's the Ken Griffey Jr. dual home run bat, inscribed to two different home runs in 1998. So again, the common theme that we have here tonight, pinpointing game-used items to great periods. Look, Griffey in the late 1990s was an absolute beast at the plate. In 97 and 98, those two seasons particularly, I think he hit 56 home runs back-to-back seasons, MVP in 97, and then in 98, followed up with the same amount of home runs. And really, I think it's interesting with the Griffey item. You probably noticed the same thing over the past couple of years. I think he's getting sort of an extra level of respect because he came out of the DVD era, and there was never a rumor, a link, nothing between Griffey and any of that controversy, and yet he put up the numbers that he did. And I think when people reflect on him now that he's been retired for years, and they look at his numbers and they look at the overall game he brought to the table, I'm not saying he is, but he is the closest thing to Willie Mays that we had watching in the 1990s and into the 2000s. In terms of, again, overall game. Even Barry Bonds didn't have the strongest throwing arm of all, but Griffey could do it all in his prime.
Yeah, and that is a beautiful bat. A ton of use on it. I was looking at that one yesterday as well.
And that great tape, that tape job is just so unique. That zigzag, spiral tape. It's so unique just to him almost, and it really sets it off.
Yeah, that's his signature, and he was one of the players that he was very consistent. From his rookie era all the way through the end of the career, that crisscross taping pattern. That's his signature application on his bat. So if you're gonna step up for a premium Griffey, which this certainly is, of course you want to have it all in this bat.
Yep. Great example. Good eye, Joe. You're killing it so far.
I could literally close my eyes like pin the tail on the dog. Really, there's so many great items in the dog. It's unbelievable. I'll finish with this last one and then let you guys go back to your thing here. But the 2021 Shohei Ohtani bat that has been photo matched to 7 separate home runs. Okay, so again, here's the theme again. Pinning it to a great performance, great year. This was Ohtani's first MVP. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that he's going to get another one this year. Who knows?
Indeed.
Get another Grand Slam yesterday. Just unbelievable. But what's so remarkable about this bat, and we have, by the way, we have an Acuna that fits this bill as well in the same auction. The players today, look, it's not like the days of Killebrew, Clemente, and Williams. Players go through bats much more frequently now. They get more bats than they ever did before. So to be able to photo match this to 7 different home runs for a white-hot streak during his first MVP campaign, when you look down the road, when Shohei Ohtani's career is all said and done, Shohei Ohtani's bats are not going to be rare. So then the question becomes for collectors that want something special, how can I obtain a bat that's going to stand out against the rest? And here you go. MVP year, photo match to this incredible streak. And so I don't think no matter how many bats Shohei Ohtani uses for the rest of his career and whatever he does, this bat will always stand out for those reasons. So it's just a tremendous example. And if anyone's looking to have not just an Ohtani bat, but an elite one, I don't know if it can get better than this. I'm not sure if one has been offered publicly that could measure up against this bat.
And also early career, as you said, if he plays 15 years, there's going to be a ton of his bats out there, but the majority of them will be later career bats. So having an opportunity to get such an ideal one that's from the early career, first MVP, that is an amazing piece of lumber.
Yeah, it really is. And I think with Ohtani, I mean, obviously he's the talk of the sports world and collecting. What he's doing is so special. It's so unique that for those that are probably wondering, wow, I mean, can I step up, at these levels? I mean, his bats and jerseys sell at levels of some of the all-time greats. I don't think he's going to be required to put in as many years doing what he's doing. If he's able to put in a few more years doing what he's doing, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Sandy Koufax. I mean, Koufax retired at the age of 30, but those last several seasons were so dominant and so special. How could you not put him in the Hall of Fame? I think the same is true for Ohtani. I don't think he needs another 12 or 15 years. If he could just do this for a few more seasons, I mean, how do you not do it? It's so unique what he's doing. And he's so good for the game, too. Seems like a really good guy, very respectful, and just an incredible talent.
Yeah, agreed. I'm very interested to see where that bat goes, and then the other Ohtani bat we have to his first Grand Slam, which he's making all the more frequent, it would seem.
I know, it's making it look way too easy to do both.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us, Joe. Always incredibly insightful and some great choices. And I've got good news for the viewers. We're going to bring Joe back a little bit later to talk about some other items. So stay ready. You always got to be ready. Next man up. And we'll see you in just a little bit, Joe.
Thanks, guys. Good luck with the show.
Thank you.
All right, Tony. How about that?
Boy, I mean, such an
man, the
education.
legend.
Such an education. The Harmon Killebrew, just everything. I mean, he gives so much knowledge to the whole bat industry and to the whole industry as
Indeed.
well. I mean, it's amazing.
One of the most respected people in the industry. I love
Yes.
seeing him at
Yep.
the National interacting with everybody. He's like a celebrity there. Not unlike you, Tony.
He's way up there.
Thank you, Game Time Gallery, who's watching and enjoying the show, and thank you for those who are commenting. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. If there's something you'd like to talk about, we'd love to hear from you. We've gone this long, we got to talk about it. We have the 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle
Amazing.
SGC Mint 9 up for auction tonight. It's going to find a new home tonight. Beautiful example. We had the SGC 9.5 last year that set the record at 12.6 million. And we would put this one up against any of the top tier mantles. Derek Grady said that. He's one of the finest card minds in the hobby. Just ask him. And just a gorgeous example. It's incredible. We're very lucky, Tony, to be able to see two of these iconic cards back to back like this.
And the one thing on this one, the corners are perfect. The centering is so nice. The registration is great on this card. I mean, how do you top this one?
hues.
Everything on it. It is just amazing, and it's the card. It's that Mantle card. Everybody wants it, and to have it in that kind of grade, you just never find these. And to have the best of the best, I mean, how do you top this?
And we've had it on display in our gallery here at our home office in Dallas, Texas. And, crazy place to work. There's experts in 50 different collecting
Yes.
disciplines.
Yep.
There's people that are accountants, photographers, shippers. But I had so many people walk by when we were in there and just comment on how beautiful it was, whether they knew what it was worth or not. Just it's like a piece of art, essentially.
Yes, absolutely.
And incredible rookie here. There's so many huge rookies in the auction, but we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the Babe Ruth rookie that we have in the auction. In fact, we have two of them. But the 1916 M1015 blank back Babe Ruth rookie in an SGC 5.5. Just an iconic item. It's Pop 3 none superior. So this one is right at the top of the pop. You've got the pitching image there, and I mean, it's quite simply one of the most important cards in the industry, and I'm excited to see where that ends up.
In the Red Sox uniform. Pitching
Yes,
as well.
exactly.
I mean, both of those things. And this card, I mean, we talk about the Mantle, you talk about Honus Wagner. I mean, this is one of those that is the same kind of level as those other two. It's such an amazing card, and it's hard to find these. I mean, there's so few of them out there. And
yeah, only 16 in the SGC population. This one's right at the top. So beautiful example. And then got to talk about one of my favorite Ruth cards, the 33 Gaudy, number 144. You know that's my favorite, Tony. I dare say that it's probably the most popular of the 4 Ruth entries in Gaudy. We have a great painting of it hanging in our department.
yes, we do. You did a great job on social media.
Yeah,
posting
thank
a
you very
photo
much.
of that card and this.
So this one is a Pop 1, just 4 superior of one of the hobby's most popular favorite cards. A beautiful image here. This one's seemingly untouched by after 9 decades. Spotless surfaces, uncompromising hues. Centering is marvelous for an issue notorious for bad centering.
And it's such a great look from him, too. It really is. I mean, you got the full body, you got the background like that, and the color is just amazing. And the centering is great on this card. It's got everything you could want.
Right,
It really
and
does.
so it's the only one at 8.5. There's 4 9s, there's no 10s. The population, and that's going to do a big number tonight,
Absolutely.
I think.
Yep.
Tony, what do you got? I've been gabbing.
Oh
on
my
here.
goodness, there's so many things in this auction. I mean, the one that one of the ones that really stood out to me, the 1971 Thurman Munson PSA 9. And anytime somebody says they have cards from the 70s, I always say, well, do you have any from 71? And if they do, they're always in really, really tough shape. And this one here, mint 9, I don't believe there's any 10s in this card, and it is the toughest card from the 70s. That 71 set is notorious for chipping on the corners, centering, and everything. And this one here, mint 9, it's one of the absolute best of the best, and it's of Thurman Munson, the guy who kind of ran the...
Love that action shot.
Yeah, it is.
as
He's
well.
taking out a guy from I think the Athletics it was.
Yes.
And, and that's his first full card. 1970... It's nice.
Split up rookies.
But this is his first full card, and you got the Rookie of the Year mention on it. And again, these are just so tough to find. And you could open up a box today of those, and if you
Let's
did,
do it.
Well, if anybody has one,
I'm
please
game.
let us know. But even if you open up a box today, the chance of finding a mint 9 is almost impossible because
Those
of the
black
chipping,
borders.
the centering. There's so many pitfalls on this card, and it's a great, great, great issue.
Yeah, indeed. Game Time Gallery talking about the Jackie Robinson debut ticket, which we will definitely get to.
Oh, my
Very
goodness.
interesting piece there. So we have so many incredible Ty Cobb cards in the auction. Almost impossible to pick a favorite. We've got the only signed bat off-shoulder example that exists is in this auction. We've got a black Lennox back Ty Cobb red portrait, which is basically impossible to exist, but it does. But I picked out this one. This is the T206 red portrait Cobb, and it is a PSA near mint to mint 8. Pop 3, none superior. It's one of the most iconic cards in the industry. This is one people who aren't even in the industry recognize. Such an amazing image, and there's no finer way to see it than this one right here. The PSA 8, there is none higher for something that's almost 125 years old. Unbelievable that it's survived in this condition, and it is a beauty to look at.
That background is so beautiful. That red background, that red portrait. I mean, how do you top that? I mean, just look at it. He's in his uniform. He's kind of smiling a little
English
bit.
D is showing the high
Old
collar.
English,
You can tell it's the wool uniforms that surely were horribly uncomfortable. It's just dead ball era.
It just jumps out at
personified.
you. It jumps out at you, and it's Cobb too.
Yes. All right, and I had to give a nod to the international home run king, because we have some great Sadahara O cards in the auction, and I love this one. It's the 59 Minko Hoshiganju Sadahara O, and this one is the red border. This is one of the rarest cards in the industry, and also a miracle it survived. So Minko cards were meant to be used in a card throwing game. If you look at the back, it has the icons there. Each card was a different playing piece, and players would literally throw the cards onto the ground, and that's how the game was played. So pretty much every Minko card you come in contact with is going to be a very low grade, because they were used for that, just the same way kids put their Mantle cards in the bike spokes here.
Yep.
This is what Minko cards were. So this red border, there are only 2 in the PSA population, and this is the higher graded of the 2. So he was a huge star in Japan. He was their Babe Ruth, their Hank Aaron, and a great image of him as well, and one of the rarest cards in the industry.
And the highest graded of those 2.
Yes.
And that's the thing that sets it apart from everything else, is that.
All right, Tony, you know what's become really popular? Signed vintage cards.
Yeah, we've got a lot of them in this auction, some of the absolute best. And one of the ones that really stands out to me is the 1948 Jackie Robinson rookie card signed. And, you know, this card was always valuable, and kids would usually get index cards, baseballs, whatever else. They didn't traditionally get autographs on cards, and this is one of the few known of Jackie Robinson, only 4 known. And you know, we've seen Type 1 photos go up. We've seen signed rookie cards go crazy. And this one here is really, really difficult to find, because, again, he never did a show. The only way to get him would be to either see him in person or to send off for it. And this is just such a beautiful, beautiful card. And signed,
I've never
and
seen
signed.
a signed one
Yeah,
before.
I have not either. We sold a 52 I think we had,
Yes.
a 52 tops, but the 48 leaf, just a gorgeous, gorgeous card.
Amazing that it even exists.
I know, yeah.
And same for this next one, I just mentioned it. The Ty Cobb bat on shoulder, and this is an autographed copy from the T206 issue. It is the only autographed Cobb bat on shoulder that exists, so that's known. If you happen to have one, that's raw. We'd love to talk to you about it.
Call us.
But it's his trademark green ink. He signed in a great spot right there, flipped it to the side so there was room to get the whole signature in. One of his iconic cards as well. So very pleased to see that one, and I'm intrigued to see where it's going to end up.
Yeah, and I mean, so many times you'll see postcards signed by him, because people would send him postcards or easier things. Cards, they were always so valuable that people just didn't send off that for an autograph.
Yeah, and we talked about the 33 Gaudi Ruth 144. We also have a signed example of that. One of just 8 examples in the PSA population of the 144 signed. Yeah, a true rarity from the big 3 sets there. You've got a signed T206 Cobb, you got a signed 33 Gaudi Babe Ruth, and this is a beautiful one. As I said before, I love this card, and to see a signed example, we'd say it's about a 7 out of 10, which is graded authentic, but fantastic one, and only 8 of those in the PSA population.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, gorgeous.
And keep going, Tony.
What do we got next? Let's see here.
Thanks to DT God for glad you're enjoying the show. If there's something you'd like us to talk about, please let us know.
Okay, so the next one we have is the 51 Bowman Mickey Mantle.
We've got a lot of signed.
We have a whole run of Mantle signed cards, and
complete run.
And people, I've heard this story more than once, that if you would have brought this card to Mantle, the signed, he would have told you, I'm going to kill the value of it by signing it.
Yes.
And people would have to say, well, don't worry about it and all this and that. But this one here, the actual rookie card, the first card that was ever produced of him, 1951, gorgeous blue felt tip autograph. Where the autograph is graded a Autograph is graded a 10,
10.
so I mean, how do you beat that? And
You literally can't.
no. And again, this card, people just didn't bring to get signed because it was always so valuable. And to have it signed, just amazing. And and we're seeing the explosion of signed rookie cards and signed cards in general. And this one here is the top of the list, I guess you could say.
Unimprovable.
Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking of which, we also have a signed 52 Topps mantle, and this one, likewise, PSA DNA 10 autograph for it. Gorgeous example, obviously such an important card. Now the card's graded a 1, but the front actually has some nice aesthetics. You wouldn't think of it as a 1 just looking at it.
Look at the centering too on that.
Yes.
I mean, it's really, really nice.
Yeah, so nice. It's got rounded corners, you can see, but the autograph is a 10, absolutely unimprovable. These are all these signed mantles are from the same collection, if you can believe it. Tony, you got another one, right? Coming up next?
Yes, we do. What do we have?
58 Topps.
19. And these, I just think this is such a cool card because it's Mantle and Aaron, from the World Series. And again, I mean, right now, I mean, that's what, $9,700. Years ago, that might have been a $1,000 card.
Right.
And now it's gone up to such a level that, and having those two iconic players together on the same card, it's just so beautiful. And I just thought that was such a neat card from those guys during their prime.
Yeah.
Autograph.
Great image, too. And
Absolutely.
9.5 autograph. And then you also pulled out the signed 61 mantle, which is also a 10 autograph.
Yeah, I mean, again, I mean, that's just from his heyday. And it's just amazing to me that for so long these cards lagged behind. And now everybody wants them, and there's just not many of them out there.
Yes.
Again, they were always so valuable. Mantle was always the most popular card of every set, and to have them sign it, people just didn't do it. And this one just a great from 61. So.
And then we've
I really
also
like
got, this is all the same collection, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever did this was a genius. A signed
way ahead of their time.
52 Burke Ross Mickey mantle. Really underrated mantle card. It's the same image as the 51 Bowman rookie. This one, the autograph is a 9. You say, well, it's not a 10 like the others. This is the only autographed example in the PSA population.
What I love about that, ballpoint ink.
Yes.
To true collectors, they want to have it signed in the same kind of ink from the period, and that's what really sets us apart. Yes, he probably did sign this in the 70s or 80s, but again, it's got that ballpoint ink, and it's just such a great look to it.
Yeah, and just to complete the run, we also have a signed 69 Topps mantle, last name in yellow. So very complete collection. If you are looking for a signed mantle card, this is the auction for it.
Yes,
It's a complete
absolutely.
run. Most of the autographs are 10s, the majority of them. So there's some really incredible examples, and whatever your favorite mantle card is, we've got a signed example of it right here. So a lot of fun tonight. We have plenty more to come. We have just over an hour to get your bids in. Tony, check the bid board.
Oh my
over there.
goodness, let's
get
take a
in.
look at it. Okay.
So
Seattle Seahawks ring, 16,500.
That's a nice
The Sadahara O just got bid on as well. After Mike talked about it, of course, 27,000. Mike Schmidt game used bat. Thank you, Joe. 3250 right now. Let's see. Ben Roethlisberger game used
oh, that's a beautiful
jersey,
framer.
30,000, which
That's gonna
is
be a record for
remarkable
Roethlisberger,
for
possibly
him.
already.
Absolutely. Tom Seaver game used photo match 1971 jersey.
That's the
57.
lowest ERA. He led the NL in ERA that year, and it was the lowest of his career.
Of his career, wow, 57,000. So things are starting to move right now.
All right, so you got just over an hour to get your bids in for session 1. Session 2, you can bid all night and tomorrow. But we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk about some gamers.
Can't wait.
We made global headlines last year when we sold a 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle graded an SGC Mint Plus 9.5 for a world record price of $12.6 million. And this SGC Mint 9 mantle is a veritable twin of that beauty. It likewise derives from the legendary Al Mr. Mint Rosen find in the 1980s, a once-in-a-lifetime find of 1952 Topps Series 3 dead stock, discovered in the home of a former delivery driver and brought to market by Mr. Mint. Only 4 examples have ever graded higher, and this card compares favorably to any 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle that exists, inclusive of that world record SGC 9.5 and the 3 Gem Mint 10 specimens in the PSA population. Run down a checklist of requirements for a top-rated card and every box is ticked. Color, gloss, registration, corners, surfaces, centering. At this airless altitude, a step from the peak of not just the global population of all 1952 Topps Mantle cards, but truly all post-war trading cards extant. The view is quite literally the best that money can buy. It will elevate a new collection on August 19th in our Summer Platinum Night auction. On Jackie Robinson's tombstone in Brooklyn's Cypress Hills Cemetery, just 5 miles from where Ebbets Field once stood, these words are engraved. A life is not important except in the impact it has on other lives. By that metric, no athlete in American sporting history is more important than the man who took the dangerous first step across baseball's shameful color line. Thus, there could be no contesting the logic of a corollary between the most important rookie ball player of all time and the elite significance of that player's rookie card. Over 1,600 submissions of Jackie Robinson's rookie card have been presented to the experts at PSA for encapsulation, but just 8 have commanded a superior assessment than this example. A PSA Near Mint Mint 8, and it displays fantastic hues, a rich yellow in the background and deep blue in the cap, while avoiding the focus liabilities that are so familiar to devotees of the Leaf brand. The back shows vibrant print against clean gray cardstock. And while the game and the nation have changed enormously since the far less evolved climate of Robinson's early Dodgers service, the offered relic is almost untouched by the passage of over 7 decades. An elite specimen that joins a new collection on August 19th in our Summer Platinum auction. The folks at Topps turned the baseball world on its ear for 1955, abandoning the portrait format that dominated the hobby since its inception for a landscape design that provided exciting new options for company artists. Yet this pioneering distinction tends to be an afterthought for collectors today, whose primary association with the Eisenhower-era issue is the rookie debut of one of the most beloved Cooperstown residents, Roberto Clemente. Presented as one of the finest known examples thereof, one of just 2 Clemente rookies assessed at a Mint 9 level by SGC, a lofty rating that reigns over more than 2,000 other submissions to the service and is bested by none. The brightly colored and sharply registered image enjoys almost perfect centering, with a pack-fresh state of preservation that completely ignores 7 decades of existence. A gorgeous tribute to one of the most noble men ever to wear the uniform of a major league team. This glorious SGC Mint 9 example joins a new collection on August 19th in our Summer Platinum Night auction.
I can't do it. You are so good at what you do.
Get those golden pipes on
I
there. That's
cannot.
how you
No,
sell.
no. You are far and away better than I am on that. And if I did it, it would sound stupid. No,
We're going to find out, ladies and gentlemen. Don't
I'll
worry.
do
Next-
one. I'll
next
do one.
auction, we'll
I'll do
find
one.
out. So let's talk some gamers. Tony, we got an hour till extended bidding begins.
We can talk about gamers for an hour at least.
We could at least.
I guarantee you that.
But we don't have that. We have so many other venues to get to. So let's.
We're going to talk about some of the absolute finest gamers in the hobby right now. 1998, Michael Jordan, Last Dance, playoffs, game used and signed Bulls jersey, photo matched, which, as we all know, takes it to a different level. 430,000 right now. But the thing that really is cool about this was against the Hornets, and I forgot about this a little bit, that they lost one game. I think they lost game one of that series. And
it was game two.
It was game two, and then
B.J.
Armstrong
went off.
Kind of
talked a little trash.
Talked a little bit and got Michael
Smart.
really
Good
fired
idea.
up. Yeah.
Good idea.
Let's see how that works. But, you want to talk about one of the nicest Jordan game used jerseys. It's got everything. Letter from the Bulls, photo match, upper deck authenticated autograph. It's got every single thing you can
photo
want.
match to the game 3 after that.
Yes.
Which they talked about in episode 8 of the Last Dance documentary. They called it the revenge game.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan was not pleased that B.J. Armstrong, of all people, he took it personally. B.J. talked some trash, and he dominated. He led all scores with 29. He guarded B.J. For the majority of the game, and B.J. had a horrible game, and the Bulls won.
Surprise, surprise.
So yeah, Jordan material just exploded during the pandemic. A lot of people point to the Last Dance documentary, and this jersey, you can see him wearing it in episode 8. So that is incredible.
Yeah, that is just unbelievable. And it's Jordan. And there's not a lot of photo match game used jerseys of him out there. And from that time period, it's such a gorgeous jersey. It's the road jersey, which to me is just more beautiful than the white. No offense. I love that red
You got it
jersey.
right over there, over your shoulder,
Yes.
Tony. All right, and then we got a Mamba jersey.
Kobe Bryant game used photo match from 2010. That I believe that was his last title. Was 2010. And again, we see so many Kobe Bryant jerseys, but so few of them ever photo match.
Yes.
It is so difficult
that
to have
Lakers
those.
style is tough.
Exactly. It really truly is. And it's, that it's a yellow jersey, number 24, which he was known for during the second half of his career. And my goodness, it's got everything you could ever want on a jersey, and it's photo matched. And right
very
now,
Kobe style, he had a sprained ankle during the
yes,
game.
he did.
But
Absolutely.
he led all scorers with 33, and he had 9 rebounds in the game. So amazing performance by Kobe in that one.
Great Kobe jersey.
Tony, I know you love this one, but I'm going to talk about one of the most unique jerseys we have in the auction. And
I did a video on this one.
One of the greatest styles to ever hit the hardwood. This is a 1975-76 Moses Malone game-worn Spirits of St. Louis jersey, and this has been photo matched as well. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. That is a logo for the ages.
That
right
is
there.
straight up ABA and Spirits of St. Louis. And I didn't even know that he played there, to be honest with you. I had no idea. And when it came in, with that name on back.
Played there for 2 seasons. Do you know why?
They
The
folded.
team only lasted 2 seasons. So they were the Houston Mavericks, 67-69, the Carolina Cougars, 69-74, and then Spirits of St. Louis for 2 years. Malone wore this jersey those 2 years, and then they folded. Although their owners, so in their final season, their attendance dropped below 1,000 people, and they were in an 18,000 capacity stadium. Can you imagine? And Moses Malone was playing there.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer.
Just unbelievable. He was
There he is.
one of the
That's
guys that
the
did not even
photo
play
match
in,
right
in
there.
college.
Yes.
He just went high school right to the NBA, and I didn't even know he was there, to be honest with you.
So another cool thing, it's consigned by the individual who was the ball boy for the team at the time. And there's some great photos of the consigner, a more youthful consigner than he is now, with Moses Malone wearing this jersey right here. And you can see how thrilled he is as someone who is also a ball boy for the Dallas Mavericks. I can tell you, you don't care how crappy the team is. It is
You get
such
to
a
be
thrill,
there. You're
and
right
you get
there.
to see it right there on his face. And this one is photo matched as well, so an amazing item. Another great photo match jersey. The Lakers have had so many great players. There's some that kind of fly under the radar, and Big Game James is one of them. And this is a really nice, one of the finest James Worthy.
Oh, no, it's the best James Worthy in the hobby.
Yes.
It is amazing. When this came in, that and the Jamal Wilkes came in together, I believe it was. And to see the use on this jersey, I mean, that's what you look for in a uniform, that kind of wear. And this thing just is amazing. Amazing jersey.
So it's photo match to 7 different games, including the '84 NBA Finals when they played Bird and the Celtics. James had a great series. Lakers won, so an incredible jersey and
kind of underrated, I think.
Very.
He really is.
He was one of the greatest college players.
Yep.
He joined a team that had 2 superstars already. I mean, it was a stacked team, but he played his role. And as you said, this is the finest James Worthy jersey that exists. If you're the kind of person that likes to have the cream of the crop for a player, this is the one for you.
Yep.
All right. Any more Mamba stuff you want to talk about?
Yeah, we've got a great pair of Kobe Bryant game-worn sneakers.
Great story.
And these, when I first heard about them, the consignment director, he was talking about it, or somebody was talking to me about, he wore them against the Utah Jazz in the playoffs, and I said, no, that is like the game that he had these air balls, and it almost made him, because nobody else from the Lakers wanted to step up and take a shot. He did, and he was a
elimination game.
Yes, it was.
In the second
I remember watching it.
Versus Stockton and Malone, and at the end of the game, he said later he just didn't have the stamina yet.
Yep.
And his last 4 shots in the fourth quarter and overtime were air balls. And he later said that game was a motivating factor to become a champion, to become the workout warrior that he became. And, he was blamed for the loss, right or wrong, and their elimination. They got eliminated by the Jazz. And he took it up a notch and became a champion. And then he gifted these to the Jazz ball boy who he'd formed a relationship with. And he signed them. There's a picture of them together. He signed both shoes in Lakers gold Sharpie there. So very cool story. And
it's a great style too.
Yes.
That Adidas was his
Adidas days.
That was his first signature shoe, and it's such a great style for him. And you have a great early autograph of his too.
Indeed.
I mean,
All right. Back to Jordan, I believe.
Back to Jordan, yes. Again, Last Dance playoff shoes. These are just, this was the first style that
right over here. Over my left shoulder
here. Okay.
As well.
This was the first style that I ever owned.
Really?
Yep.
98.
I was in high school, college. We had to work a little more, but this style was, the one for me. It had so much meaning to it, and again, it's from his last year with a Bulls team letter too. So when you have that factored into it, coming right from the team,
yes.
How do you top that? Autographed as well, 35,000 right now. Just a great pair of Jordan gamers from the end of his career, in Chicago at least.
And we are the record holder for LeBron gamers, so we have some great LeBron gamers, and I love this style. These are from 2005. And LeBron wore these in the Rising Stars game. He was a sophomore. They played the freshmen. They, of course, crushed the freshmen because it was Dwayne Wade and Carmelo. So great style here. The Chamber of Fear, if you remember that commercial, great Nike commercial where LeBron's in like an old kung fu movie, which is the motivation for that. They're both signed. LeBron gifted these to a fellow All-Star, and so great provenance as well, and their photo match to that All-Star weekend game. Beautiful example of the Zoom LeBron 2s there. And let's do some more sneakers, Tony.
Oh, we can never go wrong with sneakers, can we?
Oh, no, wait. So we talked about the Magic Johnson jersey.
Yeah, this one here, I was talking to one of my coworkers, and Dave DeBuscher game used Detroit Pistons warm-up jacket with a letter from him. And, when you think of him usually, it's with the Knicks.
Sure.
It's winning titles and that kind of thing. But early on, he was with the Pistons early
Started
on.
his career there.
Yeah, and the cool thing about this, which, I mean, it's great that it's at $25,000, but it's got his name on the back.
Yes.
It's got it's got the drop shadow name on back and everything
Nailed it.
number on
Yeah.
back, not name on back, number on back. So it's got so many things. It's got the
He
team
signed it
emblem.
with the
Yep.
My Gamer inscription.
Yep. So he did everything on this. It's such a great style of jacket. It really, truly is. And he's a guy that most people don't think about. You think of Wilt. You think of Oscar Robertson, all those guys. But this guy here was one of the absolute best from his era.
So Joe talked about the 58 Mantle Gamer, which is incredible. The reason there's so few Mantle Gamers out there, or any Yankees from that era, is at the end of the season, the teams would send the jerseys down to the minor leagues. They'd take the name out, take the numbers off,
Yep.
relabel them, and then the minor leaguers would use them until they disintegrated, essentially. So this next one is a very interesting piece. It's a 1964 Mickey Mantle game-worn Yankees jersey, but it was repurposed for the Fort Lauderdale minor league affiliate, and it still says Fort Lauderdale on it. So a lot of his jerseys, that's where they ended up.
That's exactly
and
what they
that's where
did.
they
Yep.
would go to die,
Yep.
but this one survived. The clarity of decades of hindsight, someone held on to this one. It still has the mantle in the collar. It's a little tough condition, but if you can't afford $4 million for a
This is
Mickey
a great
Mantle
alternative.
shirt, this is
Absolutely.
a nice alternative. You can see on the back as well. That's the number. It's had the alterations on the front, but it's still got the 7.
But
on
the 7
back.
is
The 7. Those of us who can't afford 7 figures for a shirt, here's
6
another-
figures will.
Yeah,
It'll definitely do.
Here's another option for
Yep.
you. Tony, this one you selected up next is one of my favorite lots in the auction.
The Pete Rose.
No, it's the
The Reggie Jackson. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is such
made a list.
This is next time for sure. This one right here. I mean, it's a beautiful style, and it's a vest, which is what they wore in the '60s, and shows absolutely great use on
Yes.
it. Reggie Jackson, Oakland A's jersey, and another layer added. It is photo match. So again, Reggie. It's early for Reggie, but it's also one of the nicest Reggies I've ever seen. And with that name on back, great puckering on the front and the back number. It's got everything that you could ever want on a jersey of his, and it's a flannel jersey too, with beautiful piping around the neck and the sleeves. It's got everything you could ever want for a Reggie Jackson jersey.
And those photo matches, it's photo match to a game at Fenway where he went 3 for 4 and had 2 home runs. And then the other photo match, we've had this a few times and I love it. It's photo match to his 1970 Topps card.
Oh, that is.
We've run into a few photo matching matches where it's been a card, and I just love that aspect. And it's got the game and then the photo match to the card as well. So you just buy the jersey. If you're going to frame it, you put the card in there, you put the photo
You got
match
everything right there.
documentation. It's right there ready to go.
Yep.
All right, Tony, now you can talk Pete Rose.
All right, 1963 to 66. It's the earliest known Pete Rose. It's a rookie fielder's glove. It was on display at the Cincinnati Reds Museum for a number of years. Gifted from Rose to the bullpen catcher, who was the first bullpen catcher in Major League history. And
Is he in
again,
the Hall of Fame for that?
he should be.
First.
He's the first, absolutely. But just a great, great glove of Pete Rose, early, great use. It's it's got everything that you could want for a Pete Rose glove, and he signed it my first glove as well. So
Nice.
yeah, it's a really cool Pete Rose glove. and great use too.
So let's talk some football gamers now.
Oh, all right.
This next one is one of the most incredible jerseys I've ever seen, Tony. We talked about a few jerseys that are the finest example for that player. We didn't have a Staubach in this auction. I'm still waiting for that. If you have a Staubach jersey and you want to
Give
make
us a
some money,
call.
call us.
Absolutely.
This is a 1968 Gale Sayers game-worn and signed Chicago Bears jersey. Now, the 1965 NFL Rookie of the Year, he's called the Kansas Comet because he played for the Jayhawks, possibly the last good player they ever had. But like a comet, he burned bright and then was gone. So he only played 69 games, but made it into Canton based on
That's
that performance.
amazing.
So he
by
has
the way.
the least amount of games to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame. Jerseys from this era barely survived, and only 69 games to pull from. And in fact, you can tell from this jersey, he wore it in multiple games, if not every road game. So very few Gale Sayers game-worn jerseys out there. And
They
this
were
is
very frugal.
unquestionably the finest. Yeah,
They were
that's for
very
sure.
frugal. George Papa Bear Hallis, they were very frugal with their uniforms, as you can tell. And yeah, you're right. I mean, photo matched, great use from one of the absolute best running backs ever. You're right on that. And, you know, short career, but just remarkable.
And so it is photo matched, and here's the interesting thing about that takes this one up another notch. So it's photo matched to a Getty image that does not specify the precise date, but the yellow paint in the background clearly establish it as Lambeau Field. I'm sure you picked up on that, Tony. You've spent some time there. So the experts at Resolution conclude in their letter that based on that information, the photo was most likely taken during the game versus the Packers on November 3rd, 1968. What did Sayers do?
Those fences, I remember those fences, by the way.
So what did he do in that game? He had his career best 205 yards and notched a 13-10 victory over their rival Packers there. Sorry, Tony.
That hurts
But-
a little bit.
So a beautiful jersey with a ton of team repairs, incredibly rare, photo match to his best game, a victory at Lambeau Field over the Packers. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the finest Gale Sayers jersey. that
Yes,
exists.
absolutely, it is. It is.
Yeah, excited to see.
And
where
great,
that
just
one
such
goes.
good use on it.
Yes.
I mean, you know, worn for multiple games, of course, given that wear.
All right. Tony, I'm impressed that you picked.
I picked the
Viking
Viking,
jersey.
and you know what? I was thinking about this. This is probably the best Viking jersey in team history.
Yes.
Because I was thinking, I mean, how many guys,
What
you know,
about a jersey from that Super Bowl they won?
tough crowd here.
I figured that's why
This-
you picked it. Because it was
I
a Super Bowl loss
I did
for
not
a
do that.
division
This was actually one we've been working on for a while, and we had it photo matched. And the guy, you know, it's from Super Bowl 8, the first rushing touchdown by a quarterback in a Super Bowl. And Fran Tarkenton, yes, Fran Tarkenton. I mean, he was amazing. He was kind of, you know, he scrambled. He was the first scrambling quarterback, kind of. Not a big guy, but he made things happen. Great arm. And he held most of the records, actually. When he retired, he held most of the passing records in NFL history. And there's not a lot of great Tarkentons. This one here, because it's photo matched to, I believe, 2 games, this is, I would say, is one of the nicest.
Including
this is
the
nice,
Super Bowl.
including the Super Bowl.
The
Yep.
all-important.
Yep. And just an amazing Vikings jersey. And, you know, like I said, I was trying to think of a better one, and I don't think there is one.
I haven't seen many, so
Nope.
I'm going to go with this one.
All right.
So Joe talked about the Tom Brady jersey, so let's skip on to this Randy Moss helmet, which is right behind you, actually, which I'm just going to say it. It's the finest Randy Moss helmet that exists.
The whole thing about this helmet is when Randy Moss came out in 1998, I mean, he was mid-first round, late first-round pick. He changed the game. He really, truly did. And he made the Vikings. I still don't know how they did not win a Super Bowl with him there. I mean, their offense was the
Blame it
best
on
I've
Randall Cunningham? Is that what
No, I would blame it on Gary Anderson's missed field goal. I'm sorry, I'll stop there, Vikings fans. But no, I mean, this one here is photo matched to the divisional round and to
Not just that, Tony. It is photo matched to the last game of the regular season. He caught a touchdown that game. That touchdown was number 17. That's the record for a rookie wide receiver. And I'm pretty confident that record's going to stand for a long, long time.
Yes, he was a man among boys when he was playing, and this thing was also worn probably for most of that season, I bet, too. I mean,
and as you said, it was also matched to the divisional round, which was his first playoff game, and he caught a touchdown in that game. So his first playoff touchdown. He has 10 playoff touchdowns in his career, and I believe he's tied for 4th there. And it comes with the gloves, which for a wide receiver is an awesome
the tool of the
addition.
trade.
Exactly.
You're right.
I actually saw Randy Moss play that year in person.
You were at the game at
Thanksgiving Day. The Vikings came. They dominated the Cowboys. Randy Moss had
How many catches?
3 catches, 158 yards, and 3 touchdowns. All 3 were bombs.
Wow. He took one and made a move on a guy.
Jay Burns, how long has photo matching technology been in use? Great question.
That is. I mean, I remember, I've been doing this for about 18 years now, and in the beginning, you would kind of say, here's a match to it, but it wasn't like, there was no company behind it. It's probably been about, 6-7 years that companies were around photo matching.
MyGray was the first that I can remember.
Yep.
And they were using video at the beginning to match, and they would only match it if they could match to the video. Then they started to include photos, and then a few other companies have popped up, and we use several of them. But yeah, so one thing is the technology, that it's become a lot easier to get clear photos, to zoom in, to be able to make those matches to those minute things, the mesh holes, and Getty Images has bought up a lot of their competition in the last 10 years and consolidated a huge collection of photos, and they have a ton of sports photos. So they have this vast archive, which is open for the public to use. You have to purchase them. Sometimes they're kind of pricey, sometimes they're not. It depends. But having that, and there's other photo services, but Getty being one that has everything they have out there for purchase has made it a lot easier as well.
Yeah, and as technology evolves, I think there'll be more and more opportunities for this to even get bigger and bigger as we go on. But yeah, photo matching has taken our hobby, our industry, to a whole different level. Before there was, okay, it's game used, we think. Now you can actually say, okay, it matches this game because of this, and it's taken it to, like I said, an entirely different level altogether.
Yeah, so next, a great piece of hockey history here. Photo matched as well. We're saying that a lot. We try to photo match every jersey we get in. But this is a 2005 Sidney Crosby game-worn rookie jersey, and it is photo matched to the game where he scored his first NHL goal. Is that a big deal, Tony?
Yes, it is. Yes. Of course it is, yep.
So that was the beginning. In the next few seasons, he would become the deadliest weapon in the NHL as he'd lead the league in scoring, and he's become one of the greatest players ever. Really strange to see his jersey without the captain's patch, because this was his rookie season. He didn't have that yet, and then they would put it permanently on his jersey for the rest of his career, essentially. But that is a huge piece of hockey history. We saw a massive number for the Wayne Gretzky jersey.
Rookie jersey
we sold a few years ago. So same thing here, another titan of the sport and a monumental first moment for him. Tony, you got any hockey jerseys over there that you want to talk about? Let me see
if I have any.
Oh,
yes, we do. And this one's gotten quite a bit of interest in the last couple days. 1970-71 Gordie Howe jersey. And I had a guy call me 2 days ago saying, I've been looking for one for so long.
Hard to find.
They're just not out there. They would wear these things, then they'd recycle them, send them down to the minor leagues.
Exactly.
And, this is one of them.
Especially in this era, that 60s, 70s era.
Yep.
They were just so disposable. For
Absolutely.
The NHL.
And even for a guy like him, they would, people didn't say, oh, this will be valuable someday. They literally sent them all down. They didn't think about it. And this one's got the alternate captain's patch on it as well. And just a beautiful design. And if you're a Red Wings fan, this is the jersey to own.
And it's got a lot of blood staining on that
yes, it does. Yep.
hem at the bottom. And seems likely that he either got a bloody nose or cut somewhere else. He wouldn't have had like a stomach injury or something.
No.
There's a ton of blood there, but I kind of pictured him getting in a fight. His nose got bloody. I'm sure he won the fight. And then he used the jersey to stop the blood so he could stay in the game, which is a very Gordie Howe type.
Yes, absolutely. But no, I just love that style. It's such a simple design, but
He's
it's
the most important player in Red Wings history.
Absolutely, yep. And he's definitely top 5 probably of all time.
I think most people would say top 2.
He's on the Mount Rushmore. How's that?
Gretzky says he's number 1. Howe is number 1.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Childhood
That
idol.
was his hero. Yep.
All right, how about a little golf, Tony?
This one here just stands out to me so much. 2009 Tiger Woods Australian Masters. I'm sorry, it says Australian Masters Championship match worn, signed, and photo matched Tiger red shirt.
Victory Sunday.
When you think of Tiger, you think of Sunday, and you think of that red shirt, that red polo shirt. This is it, and the inscription that he did on this one.
Nice.
Of course, he did the 1 of 1, but this one is photo matched. So this one, I'm telling you right now, we could look back and in 5 years from now, this thing will be worth probably at least double what it is right now.
Yeah, I love that inscription.
It's got
amazing
everything you could
display
want.
piece.
Yeah, it's got the great autograph. It's Tiger red, and it's photo matched.
And great penmanship from Tiger. The
He's always had
autograph looks
such
beautiful,
a gorgeous
and you
autograph.
can read the long inscription. It
Yes.
says that
Yep.
he won the tournament as well, and Sunday red, and you can read it clear as a bell.
It is just such a great signature and inscription. It's got everything you could want on them.
So we've got about 35 minutes until extended bidding begins for session 1 at 10 p.m. Central Time. Session 2, you've got all night and all day tomorrow to bid. Tony, check the big board. What's going on?
All right, let's see what's going on here. Babe Ruth, home run, 662, ticket stub, 525. Michael Jordan flu game, wristband, 15,000, which is amazing. 160,000 on the Munson. Devon White, 1993 Blue Jays ring, 26,000. Great guy. The Sports Illustrated complete run of autographs,
we're gonna talk about
145,000. Yeah, when that came in, to see that many signed, and a lot of the vintage autographs on some of those too was just remarkable. We'll be talking about it more. Yes, you're right on that. Actually, it's had 152,000.
Wow.
155,000. My bad. Sorry.
a battle
There's
going
more
on.
bids going on. Yeah, everyone's fighting it out for that. But just such a cool piece. Al Kaline Gold Glove from 59, 5,700 right now. So yeah, things are starting to really make a move up.
All right, well, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to talk about some rings and awards coming up next. Collectors know Tom Brady gamers are nearly impossible to acquire. They rarely appear on the auction block, and when they do, they command six-figure prices. As the world's largest collectibles auctioneer, this is just the third we've encountered in the past 5 years, and the first full uniform from the GOAT we've had the privilege to offer. A throwback to the 1985 AFC Championship season when Steve Grogan was taking the snaps for New England. It also includes the MHK patch at the upper left chest, a memorial for the wife of team owner Robert Kraft. This uniform has been photo matched to the Pats' October 12, 2011 matchup with their division rival New York Jets. That day, Brady went 22 of 34 for 321 yards and a touchdown, setting up that pay dirt strike with a 73-yard reception to Wes Welker as the first offensive play of the second half. The GOAT was sacked 4 times, and the green face mask paint at the right quadricep was likely applied during one of them. We find more Jets green on the rear numerals of the jersey, which exhibits excellent wear throughout. It's a rare opportunity for one collector to win one of the most sought-after collectibles on the planet, and this gorgeous gamer will find a new home on August 19th.
My name is Mike Wiley. Formerly, I was the ball boy for the Spirits of St. Louis for the 2 years that they were here in St. Louis. Have a Moses Malone's home jersey from the Spirits of St. Louis that brought to Heritage Auctions. I'd seen in the paper that St. Louis was going to be getting a professional basketball team, Spirits of St. Louis, and I thought right away, that's it. That's my job. I'm going to be the ball boy for the Spirits of St. Louis. So Moses joined us probably 12, 16, 18 games, something like that, into year 2. You got to keep in mind with Moses, he was the first guy to go directly from high school to the pros. He was kind of a quiet guy, taking it all in. I'm sure he was, miles from home and quite an experience for him. So, but Moses kind of kept to himself and was, just a great guy. So it was the last game. We unfortunately lost in overtime to the Kentucky Colonels. It was a particularly emotional night for me, losing what I consider to be the greatest job ever. And Moses was one of the last guys out of the locker room, and Moses, man, if I can have your jersey. That was, I'd like to say that it was this kind of a Mean Joe Green moment. If you remember back to the Steelers where Mean Joe Green throws his jersey to the kid. I wish I had that story, but that was just a, quick, take it, and away we went. It's really one of the more significant pieces of ABA memorabilia and so on. It's a bigger piece. It doesn't belong, hanging in my basement. To get it out there and hopefully that somebody really appreciates the value of the jersey, the history behind it, both in terms of the league, the player, the team, and so on and so forth. So, it's just time to let it go.
Michael Jordan would play just 15 more games in a Chicago Bulls jersey after wearing this gamer, bringing one of the greatest partnerships in professional sports history to a conclusion in the only way that made sense, with a repeat of the three-peat he delivered just before his first retirement. This jersey found his airness on a collision course with title number 6 on May 8, 1998 at Charlotte Coliseum, not far from Tar Heel country where he first made his mark upon the national athletic consciousness. Jordan delivered a dominant performance in this gamer, leading all scorers with 27 points in a 103-89 demolition of the Hornets. He also added 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal to his stat line. The experts at Resolution Photo Matching utilized stray threads on the obverse text to assign a definitive match to photography from that beatdown of the team Jordan would one day own. And the GOAT added his signature to the reverse under the watchful eye of Upper Deck experts. Any gamer worn by his airness conveys incredible value, but especially one like this tied directly to his last dance final title. It is a top-tier jersey, and it will find a new home on August 19th in our Summer Platinum Night auction. Amazing items to talk about in the auction.
Absolutely.
Tony,
I've never seen anything like this before as far as quality.
No one has.
No.
No one has.
No.
So we got 2 great, we got a ton of great items, but I'm very happy to say that we can take a break because Joe's back. And he's going to drop a little knowledge on everyone.
I'll come back in like an hour. Joe, you come in and sit here. I'll see you guys in a bit.
Joe, welcome back. How was the break for you?
Watching you guys, it's amazing. Things I feel like I'm now just learning about. Like there's so much stuff in the auction,
right?
That it's so deep that you see something, and go, wow, I didn't realize we had that one. It's been amazing. And by the way, I'm like the Michael Myers of Heritage. I just keep coming back for no reason.
And just as popular as well.
I call Dr. Loomis to eliminate me.
All right, so what do you want to talk about now, Joe? What you got on the docket?
You guys have covered so much. I just had a few things to cover. So if we could pull up the 1911 T3 Turkey Red Tie Cobb. Mike, you were talking about the red portrait T206 earlier. And Ty Cobb is one of those players. I mean, it's kind of amazing when you think about his career and all the great cards that he's been a part of, all the T206s, the Cracker Jacks, of course, the T3s, even some of the more obscure issues like the Bruner's Bread. There's just so many great looking Cobb cards, but I would argue that this is the best looking. I mean, there's so many great looking cards, but just the sheer size of this, or for those that are not really familiar with the T3 issue, I mean, this is just a shade under 6x8, these cabinet style cards. So they're really massive. And what they do is they sort of bridge the gap between card collecting and memorabilia, because you get the display value because of their size. I mean, you could see this card from across the room. And this particular example is so beautiful. I mean, the colors are just tremendous. There are just some technical flaws along the edges, on the back, but what collectors of T3s, what they focus on, and as well as really all cabinet card collectors, they really focus on that image inside the frame. And I don't think you can get much better than this. I mean, when you blow it up, it is so striking. And again, because of the sheer size of the card, you get a display quality or value that you don't get with most cards of that period, because like T206s, they're very small. So just an incredible piece. And again, for those maybe not familiar with the set, there were 100 baseball figures in the set, in the T3 set. In the middle of the set, there are about 20, I believe there's 26 boxers, and those are called T9s. And probably the most interesting card in that run is the Jack Johnson T9 card. But T3s, I mean, you need some space if you want to do the set. But again, it kind of bridges the gap between card collecting and memorabilia collecting because of that, just their sheer size.
No question. The T3s it's fine art. I mean, we could sell it in our fine art department, essentially. It's a beautiful image, and I love on the Cobb one, the dichotomy of he has the fiercest look on his face, and behind him is this beautiful sunset. They're like illuminated in the clouds. It's just really fantastic contrasting images there. But I agree, and I love that it's the full figure of him, strangely standing on the mound with a bat, it looks like. So, I kind of felt like, they must have taken it from some photo shoot, or he was actually there for it, but it is a beautiful piece.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, from an eye appeal perspective alone, it's really hard to beat. And Cobb has so many great looking cards.
Yes, that's true. He's got a ton, and that is the biggest one, correct?
Yes, no, that is clear. Yeah, you think about all of the different, E cards, T cards from the period, and they're all very tiny. And then you have this monstrosity that's almost 6x8.
Yes.
It looks great in the holder, by the way. I remember years ago when we started grading those at PSA, they look wonderful in the holder. But this one, I've seen a few of them, to say the least, and the color on this is just, again, it's as good as you could possibly do.
Yeah, suitable for hanging on the wall, I would say.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I mean, it's funny you say that. A lot of T3s, because of their size, what you find today is that they have tackles in them, because people used to put them up on the wall because you could enjoy them at a distance. So you'll see some that are beautiful, but they have a hole in them, and that's again not uncommon.
I can't blame them, really.
Yeah, no, you can't. Just beautiful. Another quick one is just a few things to get through. The Sporting News Babe Ruth rookie card.
Gorgeous one.
PSA 3.5. So we noted this in the description, and so most people are probably looking at this image and saying, how the heck could this only be a 3.5? So in the description, we talk about the technical reason for the downgrade, and what it is along the surface of the card, there's bits or areas where gloss is missing slightly in some spots along the face of the card. Now, at arm's length and in a digital scan, you can't see it. I mean, so you talk about an opportunity to get sort of hidden value here from an eye appeal perspective for the grade. This is about as good of as an example as that I've ever seen, because it really looks like a card that deserves a grade at least 2 or 3 higher than this. But the technical flaw is what kept it down in the 3.5 range. So it really is an absolutely beautiful looking card at arm's length. It has a technical defect which suppresses the grade, but from an enjoyment standpoint, and looking at it at arm's length, I think a collector would be very happy with it.
I'm glad you said that, because I remember when this came in and I was looking at the front and looking at the grade, and then I flipped it over expecting there to be damage or something to the back. But the back is nice too. I couldn't figure it out. I had to have legendary card grading expert Derek Grady explain to me what the issue was. But yeah, it's something you can't tell unless essentially you have a loop or are eye to eye with it.
Yeah, and now that it's in the holder, it makes it even more difficult to see, for the
Right.
average person. So again, lots of eye appeal value here for the grade.
Yeah, that one is full boat on aesthetics.
Yeah, absolutely. Another real quick, this is kind of an odd selection by me, but I wanted to talk about it. So it's the 1952 Topps PSA 9 Myron Ginsburg.
Okay. It's the card everybody's talking about.
Well, here's the deal. So we spend most of the show talking about Brady and Ruth and Gretzky and Howe and Jackie Robinson and so forth. Here's a real collector's card here. So 1952 Topps. I don't need to tell anybody listening how popular that set is. It's definitely the most important post World War II sports card set produced. PSA has been around now. I can't believe I'm saying this because it ages me too. But around 32 years, they have graded 2 Ginsburgs.
Wow.
2 with none higher.
That's incredible.
So for the set builder, this opportunity is immense. This is not a headliner. This is not a Mickey Mantle jersey or a Michael Jordan photo match jersey. But if you're a set collector, a high grade set collector of 1952 Topps, there are 2 of these. This is your opportunity. 32
Wow.
years later, there are only 2 in the pop report with none higher. You can see that it looks like it was pulled right out of the pack. The trouble with this card is that it's often off center. If the centering were any better on this card, it would be a candidate for a 10 likely. So just a really interesting card again for the set builder.
Yeah, great choice. I remember, I think it was in the May auction, we had a lot of the top of the pop 52 Topps. I'd never heard of, with 5-figure estimates, and same thing here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember that was an incredible group that we had in that May auction, and they performed very, very well.
Yeah, there was a lot of 5-figure results for players I've never even heard of.
Yeah, but that shows you the power of set building, right? The set collecting.
Exactly.
It's still alive and well. It's still alive and well. We
It
like that.
definitely is.
There's something about checking those, items off the list. If you have the collecting gene, you get it. You guys had mentioned a couple of the signed Mantle cards earlier, and you covered the 52 Burke Ross, which is really interesting. Another one I just wanted to mention, the 54 Bowman Mantle that is autographed. The 1954 Bowman set period doesn't get as much love as I think it should. It's always been one of my favorites. I actually think this is one of Mickey Mantle's best looking cards. I mean, the set, it doesn't have an Aaron rookie, it doesn't have a Banks rookie, and it doesn't have a K-line rookie. And that's the big issue with it in terms of its popularity versus the Topps set from the same year. But as far as aesthetics go, this Mantle, and I would say the same thing about Mays in the same set. I think it's 2 of their best looking cards of their careers, and Mantle could not have placed this signature any better than he did.
He was an expert at that, even though he couldn't have done it that frequently.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he was definitely a guy that I'm sure, especially in his post playing days, could hit a signature right on the dot as good as anyone, because he was such in high demand and going to all the card shows back in the 1980s. But it's a beautiful autograph on a really aesthetically pleasing card. It's not going to get the attention that the 51 Bowman or the 52 Topps or even the 52 Burke Ross, because of the rarity, but just from an eye appeal standpoint, just a beautiful card.
Yeah, I love that one. And that collection's amazing. I remember when that came in and it was all raw. All those signed mantles. It was unbelievable.
Like you said, the collector that put that together had real foresight to do it, because look, I was an active collector during that time, during the 80s, and it was frowned upon by a lot of classic, sort of traditional veteran card collectors. No, you don't put an autograph on a card. And now, of course, it's completely flipped around, in terms of the sentiment about that. So just an incredible collection. And by the way, there's more to come in September. We have more
Yes.
Mantle cards that are coming in September from the same collector. Amazing stuff.
Right. He had every Mantle card signed, I believe. I mean, it
Yeah.
seems like it. Even
Everyone.
we've got the checklist one is signed in this one. He even got that
He
one.
did everything. He didn't
Amazing.
leave any stone unturned, did he?
Every single one. One more quick autographed card that I think, again, it's not a big headliner, but it's really interesting in my opinion, which is the 1994 Upper Deck Collector's Choice Jordan. Now, we were just talking about the
Oh,
team
the oversized one.
and it's an oversized production, about 5x7 in this case, so it's a really huge card, which is very rare for a card from Jordan's career. But the story behind this card is really interesting. So he's pictured playing baseball in the front. He's pictured swinging a golf club on the back. But it was part of a basketball set.
And it has basketball stats. They covered their bases. there.
Wow.
They just needed to get some reference to gambling, and they really would have covered every box for him.
Wow.
But he loves to gamble. Who doesn't love gambling's fine
True.
in sports.
Now
guys.
you
It's
can.
okay. It's
You're
okay.
right. Now it's accepted. You're right. Okay. You're fine.
This particular card, I guess what makes it really special, in addition to its eye appeal, its oversized nature, and that enormous autograph that you see at the bottom of the front, is that this was the first Jordan signed card that was included in a basketball set. And so, even though it's kind of oddball in terms of the images of Jordan on the front and back, this is the very first one. And we all know, I mean, for those of us who have lived through that era of collecting, how much autographed cards, parallels, limited edition cards changed the entire card collecting and manufacturing landscape from the 1990s to now. I mean, that's what everyone wants now, right? They want the autographed one, the limited edition. And so this card was a box topper that they would include in the boxes, and very few of them, we don't know the exact count, but few of them were autographed. And so this one is autographed, and from my recollection, on the back of the card, one of the things that makes collectors feel much better about this is on the back, if you can hone in on that hologram in the bottom right. On the signed versions, it came with this diamond-shaped hologram. On the regular unsigned version, it came with more of a circular hologram. So it makes you feel good. It came right from Upper Deck, certified by Upper Deck. It has the special hologram. But this, when you consider how much modern card collecting has changed over the past few decades, this card's really important, and I think it's off to a great start. Obviously performing well already, but just kind of a really interesting story behind the whole piece.
Yeah, and I believe it's the only signed one in the PSA population as well.
Yeah, and it's the highest. Well, I think, and also it's in beautiful condition.
Yeah,
It's
and
a
it's
great
a
case.
huge autograph too from Jordan. We have a few signed Jordan cards in this auction, and it's the standard card, and his autograph's 2 inches long. But that one goes all the way across on the oversized card, so it's almost 4.5 inches long.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny now when I'm looking at it on the screen. It also tells the story about his life. I mean, this pause in his career when he went to go play, with the Sox. I mean, this is part of Jordan's story. It wasn't on the court, but it's a big part of the story. And of course, he comes back and wins another, three-peat. So just a really great conversation piece all the way around. But I think the really advanced modern collectors understand what this card is and what it is.
I think collectors are benefiting from a little panic from the card manufacturers when Jordan retired. And they're like, well, we're not leaving Jordan now. What do we got? So they throw the baseball on, they throw the golf on the back, and they say, oh, we better keep his basketball statistics on there because it's a basketball set. But yeah, that is a very unique piece.
Yeah, and I bet you at the time, I would guess that a lot of collectors kind of looked at it and said, geez, it's kind of an oddball. It's kind of a
Yeah.
they probably didn't realize what it was at the time, and now, of course, what it means in retrospect.
Definitely. Good choice.
Yeah. Last one for me, real quick, is the 1960 top cello unopened box. We could pull that up. So
It's a strong price already.
yeah, I mean, yeah. Look, the unopened community. I mean, that when rarities like this pop up, they can identify them very quickly. And we've had the privilege, of course, over the past several auctions, of having some great unopened boxes. We had that 62 box, I believe that was a few months back in May. I mean, just a tremendous piece. This is another one, the 1960 set, super colorful set, very popular with collectors. But what makes this particular box, I think, really intriguing is that there's 36 cello packs included. 16 of those packs have been identified as Series 4. Series 4 has, hold on to your hats here, McCovey Rookie, Aaron, Koufax, Clemente, and Mantle in that one series.
Wow.
So, again, even though it is unlikely someone would have the gumption or what have you to try to open that up, it absolutely adds value when you have series that tie to really valuable and high demand cards. It adds value to the unopened box as a whole. So the fact that there are 16 of those packs, which are the most desirable pack by far in the entire series, in the entire set, I think really adds another layer to this. And look, the bidders are responding already. So just a really tremendous piece. And vintage unopened is drying up like crazy.
And I'll say, of course, it obviously has those great 60s aesthetics on it, but the colors are really impressive. The yellow and the red and the blue really just pop. So it makes for a great display piece. I hope nobody ever opens it.
And there's cello packs too.
Yeah.
I mean, those are rare in itself.
At that price, I would be shocked if someone opens it. You never know, but that is just an amazing piece of history.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So this was around the early to mid 1990s. I was at a card show, and many of the super high grade star cards that are in the population reports today, both PSA and SGC from 1960, actually came from a cello box find. There was a cello find in those times. And at that time, because the unopened market has changed quite a bit over the years, at that time, many of those packs were open because it was worth opening versus the current market value.
The cards were worth so much more than the pack.
Oh, I mean, so at that time, it was certainly a different world. But yeah, many of those high-grade Mantles, Clementes that you see in the pop reports today, they were part of that find. And I remember being at the show where some of those cards were coming back from PSA, and I had a chance to see them, and it was pretty remarkable.
Wow. Good industry.
That is amazing.
But that's all I got for this.
That's it? Nothing more?
All right, I guess we got to go back to work.
We got 8 minutes left. I want to leave it to you guys.
Well, thank you again, Joe, for joining us.
That's amazing.
All the viewers love it. It's great to pick your brain a little bit, and you always pick some very unique and interesting items. So enjoy the rest of the night and the auction, and I'm sure we'll be in touch.
Definitely. Good luck, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.
Killed it again, Tony.
Yes,
Killed
yes.
it again.
I mean, my goodness. Every time we talk to him, I learn so much more.
Yeah, and you love to learn, Tony.
I love to learn. And I thought I knew some things, but then whenever we have him on, it's like, oh my God.
Game Time Gallery says we're better than a Jerry Lewis telethon. So that is high praise in my book. That man is
he's far too
incredible
kind.
entertainer and highly respected by the French. Jay Burns says, my Mantle cards were signed in person in the mid to late 1980s. Mickey had the biggest hands I had ever seen back then. There was no surprise to me that he could hit home runs with the...
When his knees were bad. Thanks, Jay.
So he was an expert. We see so many signed Mantle things. There's a ton. But he was an expert at putting the autograph right where you wanted it. Obviously very friendly to collectors at those shows and was taking care of them. But in that signed Mantle card collection, you can see he put the autograph
Yep.
in the best spot every time.
Yeah, and he always had such a gorgeous autograph.
Yeah.
Him, DiMaggio, Ted Williams, they took time and they signed it the right way. I've never seen a Mantle that was just scribbled. It was
Yeah.
a gorgeous autograph. The half moons, as everybody always says, on
Yes.
the M's. But I mean, no, he always did such a good job on it. And on these cards, they're just gorgeous. They really, truly are.
All right, we've
A
got
lot of bids coming in.
We've
Lot of
got 5 minutes until extended bidding begins. Tony, let's talk about some of those bids that you
33 Ruth Gowdy, PSA 8, 240,000.
Wow.
Ernie Banks, Hall of Fame ring, 72,500. Michael Jordan, flu game, wristband, 19,500, which
Wow,
has
for
to
the
be a record
wristband.
for the
For a
most for a
wristband.
wristband. I've never seen anything close to that.
Incredible.
There's a nice Ruth 1916 photo at
Oh, yeah.
I think it was 31,000. So just incredible bids coming in right now. There's kind of a neat one. 2023 LeBron James breaks Kareem's record, 1,050 for a ticket that's what, 7 months
So
old,
not even.
6-7 months old. So yeah, just some really really neat stuff.
but hard to get tangible tickets.
You can't get them.
So let's talk about a few more items. This is one of my favorites, and I would love to have it hanging in my house. It will not be, I'm sad to say. But
Mrs.
this-
Provenzale wouldn't allow it, or just is
No,
Miss
she definitely
Provenzale
would.
gonna look at the checkbook
the
and
checkbook's
okay,
the problem.
I got you on that. Okay.
So this is a 1960 Jim Brown original painting. And what's interesting about this painting is that it was used for the cover of Sports Illustrated. And it was Jim Brown's cover debut. Can you believe it took
Oh,
till
that was his-
1960 for him to be on the cover?
57's rookie year, he was the best football player for his whole
Every year
career.
he was
Every
in his
single year
career.
he was, and he didn't make.
It's the same with Gretzky. Gretzky
didn't realize
did not
that.
get on the cover of Sports Illustrated till it was the preview for his 3rd season, and he'd won 2 MVPs in his first 2 years, and he was never on it.
Wow.
So this one is a great issue. I highly recommend reading it. It was called Secrets of a Fullback, and Jim Brown goes through and details all his techniques and what he does on the football field. It's fascinating, and I'm sure every defender in
Every
the
single person
NFL
was
read
like,
it, but
sure.
it did not matter. But it's a great painting of him. I'm just going to say it. He looks badass on
Yeah, he
it.
does. He does.
And it's a nice size too. It's 37 by 26, just the canvas. It's already framed. And this would be an awesome piece to have on your wall. And the way that Sports Illustrateds have gone up in value, we've been talking about that collection. This is a nice
the
tie-in
actual
to
that artwork.
The original
to his
artwork.
first cover.
Yeah, so very cool. I mean, if you're a Jim Brown fan, and who isn't, that would just be amazing to have hanging on your wall.
Oh my God! Yeah, I mean, he was the greatest football player of all time.
Yes.
And I mean, he won the rushing title every year but one, I think.
Correct.
And he retired at 29. I mean, he did everything.
All right, and you've got a great Jim Brown, a one-of-a-kind Jim Brown.
Yeah, we have
item
his
as well.
1957 actual rookie of the year trophy.
Can you believe that? And it's right here.
He won Rookie of the Year.
Right here.
Right now, 25,000. But again, you know, there's not a lot of great Jim Brown items out there. There's a few uniforms you'll see, but there's not a lot of trophies, anything like that. And this one here, from the beginning of his career, really, really cool,
It's
Jim
where the
Brown.
dominance started,
Yep,
essentially.
exactly. And I mean, it started at Syracuse, where he was a lacrosse player and a football player.
Also, the best lacrosse player of all time. They had to change the rules. He was so
He was that
dominant.
good. Can you imagine trying to tackle him?
I don't want to think about
As
it.
a defender, a guy that big and strong. I mean, even like in the 80s, he looked like he could still play yet.
Yes.
I mean, he was that good. And yeah, we'll never see anything like this again, especially at his position. You'll never see anything like that ever again. There's no way.
So we've got some great awards, and this one is a personal favorite of mine. It's a 1983 Baseball Hall of Fame induction ring presented to Brooks Robinson. Now, I didn't want to step on Joe at all when he said Mike Schmidt was the greatest third baseman of all
Sure.
time. But I'll say that off the field, Brooks Robinson is one of the greatest human beings who have ever lived. We were lucky to sell his collection several years ago. He came in. He was so remarkable. You know, they say don't meet your heroes, but that's not true if Brooks Robinson is your hero. He was the friendliest guy, full of stories, so talkative, so outgoing. It was just a pleasure. And I believe he has 18 gold gloves. So, you know, if we want to talk about on the field third baseman who's at the top, he's in the conversation. But how incredible is this? It comes directly from Brooks himself. This is his Hall of Fame ring that, I mean, it's a one-of-a-kind item. Hall of Fame rings are so much rarer than championship rings. So
It's
much
such a
rare.
personal item, and families never let them go.
Yes.
So, you know, but then we had Ted Williams that did, what, 355, 400,000, whatever it was.
Yes.
It was an amazing number, and I think that's going to get more of them coming out from, you know.
And
here
often
there.
when you see them, it has the nice wear on it. You can
Yeah,
tell
they
that
wore it with pride.
Wore
They
it.
really
You know, those
did.
championship
Absolutely.
rings, especially these giant modern ones, they never get worn. They're
Mm-hmm.
just on display. But the Hall of Fame ring, you know they're wearing it. You know they loved it. So that's very cool. And then even cooler, in my opinion, is this next one. It's his 1983 Baseball Hall of Fame induction plaque given to Brooks Robinson. So
And that's the nicer version.
Yes.
You know, we took in some other ones before, and they
little frame.
literally had a little 8x10 frame. And I think I was looking at Mickey Mantle and Whitey Ford and Casey Stengel together, and they're literally, it's a little 8x10 frame, whereas this one here is so much nicer.
It's like an engraving.
Yeah, it's the actual bust. You know, it's so much nicer.
And so this is what they handed him on the dais at Cooperstown the day that he was inducted. When he's giving his speech, he has this. Great display piece. You know, a ring would be great to wear. This is, if you want to display it, this is the one to have right here. 24,000 right now, so some room to go for that. But such a cool piece from one of the greatest players of all time. And can you believe, Tony, that we have another Hall of Fame ring in this auction?
Yeah, Ernie Banks, and you know, you talk about Brooks, you talk about Schmidt. I mean, Ernie Banks is one of those guys that you never hear anybody say, you know what, that guy was really not nice. You know, he was one guy that everybody liked, Ernie Banks. I don't care who you cheered for, and this came right from his collection. First time that it's ever been offered right now, 70,000, and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous ring. It's Brooks against Banks right now, I guess,
Yeah.
and they're kind of, you know, head to head, and it's very close. And a great photo right there of him wearing this actual ring. And Mr. Cub, let's play two, and
Yes.
just an icon, and just a gorgeous, gorgeous ring from Mr. Cub.
Mr. Cub.
Yep.
In fact, we have the Ernie Banks collection going on, and most of it will be closing tomorrow night. There's some really cool pieces if you're a Cubs fan or a Banks. I mean, everybody's an Ernie Banks fan, but if you're a Cubs fan, his license plates that say "Play 2."
That was, I saw
He
those.
was a
yeah.
big golfer, and we've got his golf clubs and his golf bags. There's a cool Cubs jacket, leather jacket. His Hall of Fame polo shirt, baseball Hall of Fame polo shirt, ties. So there's some stuff for the everyman
For
collector
everybody.
in
Yep,
there.
yep,
Yeah,
yep.
some great signed items that celebrities and other players signed to him. But this piece is wild. This is Ernie Banks' 1950 Kansas City Monarchs rookie player's contract. This is his first professional contract. Collectors love the bookends. So you've got the Hall of Fame ring is like the end, and this is the beginning.
very
right
beginning.
here. You know, Ernie Banks is so, of course, closely tied to Chicago as Mr. Cub, but he grew up here in Dallas, where we are, where I grew up. He's beloved here in Dallas as well, and that's where he signed this contract, here in Dallas. He was 19 years old, and he signed with the Negro League team, and then, you know, not long after this, 24 years later, he'd be a 14-time All-Star, 2-time NL MVP, member of the 500 Home Run Club and the Baseball Hall of Fame. And this is what started it right here, and he signed Ernest. I like that. Maybe he went by Ernest, or maybe he thought since he's signing a contract,
We have to
should
be
do
very,
the
very
full name. That's
careful,
the only time
yes.
I've ever seen him referred to or sign as Ernest. So very cool. And tons of great Ernie Banks items for every collector. But the ring and the contract close tonight. The rest of it will be closing tomorrow night. And you're up, Tony.
Yeah, we've got a beautiful, complete run of Chicago Bulls championship rings. Just, from 91 all the way to 98. It's got all 6 of them all being sold individually. It just kind of shows you how
I love the
championship rings. Yeah, those championship rings have really evolved through the years. But
seriously, this is the evolution
yeah,
of rings in the
absolutely.
90s here.
And it's just
6 from the same decade.
Yeah, and I mean, again, we always talk about, could that ever happen again? It probably won't happen again, especially they did it all in the same decade too.
Yes.
And that's the thing that's so remarkable about this. And if you can have them all at once if you want, but I mean, it gives everybody a chance to get,
I say buy them all.
Buy them all, exactly. Easy choice for us, absolutely.
But
no.
The player rings are the most valuable. This is from a front office person.
But they're the same as
the exact same style as Jordan got, but they're not size 18. Like we have Eddie Curry's Miami Heat ring. I think it's 13. Normal people cannot wear those. If you are a normal person like us, you can wear these rings, which would be very cool, and you can tell people you're on the Bulls squad.
So your Gale Sayers that you mentioned, right now 46,000
That's a
as
huge number
extended
for a
bidding
Sayers
has
jersey.
begun. Fran Tarkenton 17,500. Otani first Grand Slam bet 72,500. So people are starting to really make their bids now, it looks like.
All right, well, we're going to take another short break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about tickets and magazines and some autographs and some good things. But take a look at what we have coming up next. Congratulations, booms the banner headline of the included COA. You have received a trading card that was originally released unsigned in a previous product and now includes a personal autograph from Michael Jordan. We aren't sure how the GOAT was coaxed into participating in this Fleer promotion, and we'd suspect that the fee paid for a few minutes it took him to autograph 23 examples of his rookie card in 2006 would boggle the mind. But nearly 20 years after that signing session, a period during which the Jordan Fleer rookie has become one of the most famous collectibles on the planet, whatever that sum might have been has been rendered reasonable by context. Fleer wisely sought out only high-grade examples of Jordan rookies to present to the subject, and this one earns every point of its lofty rating, spared an even higher climb by the tiniest specks of wear at the full bleed corners. The autograph is as impressive as the soaring dunk it spans, outpacing its medium by a half point. The edition number 21 of 23 is applied at the lower right corner of the image in the same blue ink. Graded a Beckett Near Mint, Mint Plus 8.5 with a 9 auto from his airness, this is an elite example from one of the biggest figures in the industry. It finds a new home August 19th in our summer platinum auction. The folks at Topps turned the baseball world on its ear for 1955, abandoning the portrait format that dominated the hobby since its inception for a landscape design that provided exciting new options for company artists. Yet this pioneering distinction tends to be an afterthought for collectors today, whose primary association with the Eisenhower-era issue is the rookie debut of one of the most beloved Cooperstown residents, Roberto Clemente. Presented as one of the finest known examples thereof, one of just 2 Clemente rookies assessed at a Mint 9 level by SGC, a lofty rating that reigns over more than 2,000 other submissions to the service and is bested by none. The brightly colored and sharply registered image enjoys almost perfect centering, with a pack-fresh state of preservation that completely ignores 7 decades of existence. A gorgeous tribute to one of the most noble men ever to wear the uniform of a major league team. This glorious SGC Mint 9 example joins a new collection on August 19th in our Summer Platinum Night auction. At the bottom of this 2004 Upper Deck Exquisite Michael Jordan, you'll find a silver-stamped 6 of 6. This ultra-rare and enormously desirable Titleist insert edition matched edition numbers to each subject's collection of NBA championship rings. 11 for Bill Russell, 5 for Magic Johnson, and 6 for his airness. It is one of the most desirable and elusive issues created, with Jordan, of course, the key creation of all that exists. Considering the fact that it was the Netflix documentary The Last Dance, a deep dive into the last championship season shared by the Chicago Bulls and Jordan, that poured rocket fuel onto the already red-hot collectibles market for the first ballot Hall of Famer, there's no questioning the pinnacle of desirability for this number from that limited edition. We also note that this is one of only 2 from the limited edition of 6 appearing in the Beckett population. The on-card autograph from his airness earns every point of its perfect rating from Beckett, and minor touches on the corners here represent the only factor restricting a mint assessment on the Beckett Near Mint 8. This modern rarity, which is making its auction debut, finds a new home on August 19th in our Summer Platinum Night auction. Wow. Some incredible things happening in extended bidding right now. Tony's just going nuts.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. And I don't get excited. It takes a lot to get me excited.
Seriously.
Trust me, I don't get excited too much.
He's very laid back.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about a few more items. You could say this is the most significant item in the auction. It certainly represents the most significant moment in American sports. It's the 1947 Jackie Robinson Major League debut ticket when he broke the color barrier on April 15th, 1947. This one's a PSA VG3 Pop 1 of 1. So there's only 10 Jackie debut tickets in the PSA population. 5 are just authentic. The rest are either 1.5 or 2s. This one is a full grade above the next one at a 3. Last year, we set the record for a ticket with a Jackie Robinson debut ticket that was a 2, and it sold for $480,000. It is the debut of debuts. There is no more important debut in American sports than Jackie Robinson. It changed baseball and it changed our country. So an elite item here. This is essentially a museum quality item.
And the whole thing is, you would think opening day, and there's only how many? 5?
10.
There's only 10 of these in existence. Where are they all?
And it's
People
a
didn't
good
just throw them
question
all away, I don't think.
because everybody knew he was going to make his debut. There was
Yes.
a ton of African Americans there, but it's just people didn't save the tickets.
They just
I
didn't
guess.
think that this would be worth.
Only 2
$250,000.
have been added to the population since we sold that last one, including this one.
It's incredible.
So remarkable. Tony, you got any tickets? You
Oh,
want
we
to talk about?
always have tickets. This one really piqued my interest. Michael Jordan's college debut ticket. Now, usually you think,
I like this
I mean, like Jordan, you think of the last shot of the NCAA finals, his
Right.
Freshman year, he took the shot. People would have kept that one, but this ticket I thought was just really, really cool. 1981 Jordan against Kansas,
Yeah,
one of their
so
biggest rivals.
Two blue bloods. going at it.
Absolutely. Only 3 of them are known, and this is the full ticket. So, again, nobody would have thought, hey, Michael Jordan's going to be this great basketball player. People didn't think about that, and who would have saved it? And this being one of only 3 right now, $40,000. Just a cool early Jordan piece from
Yeah, and if
the
you're
beginning
a
of it all.
UNC fan or alum, that's a great one. Tar Heels won the game against Kansas also. Jordan had a good game. Great piece there. You got one more ticket?
Yeah, this one, to me, I think we just
casually mentioned.
Well,
it
we
earlier.
just talked about it was at 1,000. Now it's at 3,400. So, anytime now that I'm at a game, and if I think something's going to happen, I start thinking, how am I going to get a full ticket?
And our
our
whole department was at the
we were at the
Aaron
Aaron Judge
game.
game. I was at the Brewers Rangers game today, after 2 innings, Freddie Peralta was really dealing, and I'm thinking, oh man, I wonder. And then of course the next inning he gave up like 7 hits, so it was over with right away. But the wheels are spinning thinking about getting full tickets. But this is one of the only known from when LeBron beat the record for scoring, beat the captain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and this is this is the nicest graded Gem Mint 10, and again, people scanned them, but to have an actual hard ticket, almost impossible. And somebody was way ahead of the game by getting this one, and right now 3,400, and it's tripled in value in the last 20 minutes. Because when I looked at them, like 1,050, now 3,400. So some spirited bidding going on right now.
All right, next we're going to talk about one of the most amazing collections we've ever seen. It's 6 full racks of Sports Illustrated. It's so comprehensive. It covers 1954 to 2023. It is a complete run of Sports Illustrated. So there's 4,039 issues total, and if you're counting up the weeks, here's the thing. There's 651 special or regional issues. So it's got all those too, and 2,154 autographs are included, the autographed covers. So here's how it breaks down. So 1,751 issues are autographed on the cover. There's a lot of dual sign. There's a great dual sign Magic and Gretzky when Gretzky went to the Kings.
Yeah, that's right.
There's one when the original broadcasting team for Monday Night Football was on the cover, and all 3 of them signed it. There's some great team signed ones as well. So 1,751 signed issues, but 2,154 autographs total. And of those, over 2/3, 829, are Hall of Famers. There's a ton of Jordan signed ones. There's a ton of Ali signed ones. A lot of Bird. Yes, there's 2 Christy Brinkley signed swimsuit editions and a Cheryl Teagues signed one. 65 issues are encapsulated by Beckett. Some were too large to encapsulate, but it is a mammoth collection. There's Tiger, there's Jordan Spieth, a lot of Arnold Palmer. He was on a lot of covers, so is Nicholas. There's a lot of Nicholas signed. There's a Gretzky debut cover signed. There's the Jim Brown, we just talked about the painting. There's one of those signed. Koufax's debut, which is a great cover, that one's signed. You got Jeter's debut, you can see right there. Griffey's debut is on there as well. It is unbelievable. It is the greatest Sports Illustrated collection. It's all selling as one lot, and that's going to happen tonight.
When that came in, I spent
170,000 right now.
I spent about 20 minutes just going through these and saying, oh, look at this, look at this. I wonder if that's going to be there. Sure enough, it was.
Yeah.
And I had so much fun just going through and seeing those signed covers that, I'm like, how many Jordans could there be? Well, another one. The
And
Perkins one. Every single one.
They got
is
the Perkins one. They got the A Star is Born Jordan one.
Yep.
The Sportsman of the Year with the hologram cover. That one's signed. In fact, that one's in here somewhere over there. But it's remarkable. A lot of Mantle signed ones. A lot of Hank Aaron. It's got the 715 Hank Aaron cover signed by him. Just remarkable collection. To the consigner who put it all together, local guy as well.
Can you
Amazing
imagine?
work.
Can you imagine the time and effort that it took to?
And he's
put
got a
that
lot
on
of pictures of him getting the autographs. So
that's part of the fun too, though. Just assembling that and working at it and trying to get this guy or that guy. And there's some that are a really big challenge to get to, like Tiger. I mean, just imagine trying to get him.
Good luck.
It's not like you could just go and send it to him. It's a big challenge.
And a lot are signed, of course, by people who have passed already. There's Jim Brown, who just passed, Mantle, so yeah, impossible to assemble, but just buy it all now. It's the way to do it.
One bid, just one click of it.
Yeah,
then you're good to go. You don't have to
done.
worry about anything else. Make it real easy for you.
All right, Tony, you want to talk about some Sports Illustrated?
Yeah, Wayne Gretzky's first cover. I mean, and you kind of mentioned it before. I mean,
Unreal.
I didn't realize that it took him that long to get on the cover of Sports
If a
Illustrated.
rookie won the MVP he would be on sport. He would have been on Sports
Oh, it'd
Illustrated
be the
like
biggest
5
thing in the
times.
world. It would be the biggest thing
He
in the
won
world.
2 MVPs and still didn't get it until the next season.
The one thing I didn't realize about the Sports Illustrateds was that
How great Gretzky's hockey hair looks on this cover.
but also how much tougher it is to find the newsstand edition as opposed
Yes.
to the subscriber
The
edition.
newsstand was far more disposable. You'd buy them at an airport
Yep.
or
Yep.
you're walking somewhere, you read it, and then the subscription, you got it at home, and it's more likely to be kept. You just put it in the pile, and then
Yep.
it gets saved if you're a
The sad thing is
pack mule like you over here.
I used to buy them on the newsstand all the time. I don't know where they are. They may be at my
I
mom's
bet
house.
Susie threw them out.
Yeah. They're not at my desk, I promise you that. But no, I mean, this one here is just, it's amazing. It's a great photo of him, and it's a high grade one, newsstand
That orange
edition.
looks great.
It does,
we
absolutely.
sold the one Superior, correct, for
Yes, we did.
$30,000
Yep, yep.
last year, earlier this year.
This next one here,
Iconic Sports Illustrated.
I'll tell you, I mean, right now it's I think it's the second highest, but it's such an enduring image of.
Do you believe in miracles?
Yes, yes. And this one here, it's just such a great look. It's captures the 1980 Olympic team, the hockey team, and high grade. And again, it's hard to find these in really top grade because people would bend them and read them and all that kind of stuff. And
Yes.
yeah, it's a great piece.
And that one has a great article about the win as well.
Oh, does it?
With some great interviews, including with friend of Heritage, Micah Ruzioni. Has some great quotes in that one, which you can read them all online now. You don't have to mess up your copy. So you can get it
You
graded.
can read it online, absolutely.
All right, we have some amazing photographs in this auction, really incredible one. And this one just stood out to me. Now we have the Luckiest Man Speech Gehrig photo, which is one of the most famous and poignant photos in history. But this one's just very unique. And it's by Charles Conlon, who's one of the greatest photographers of all time, period. But luckily he concentrated on sports for the vast majority of his career. And it's just a unique image. It's called Lou Gehrig Eyes. It's from 1927. If you're gonna have a photo of a Yankee, 27 is the year you want. It's a type 1 and just so unique that it's this extreme close-up of his eyes. You just don't see photographs like this from that era, where they wouldn't even have the whole face in there.
A unique concept.
Getting your
It's a really
photograph
unique
taken at the time wasn't like it is now, where you take the camera out and it's done and you can check it. It was a difficult process, so to do something that's a little avant-garde was rare. And even though it's so close, you can immediately recognize that it's Gehrig. And I just love that photograph.
It's a great concept. It's something different, and during that time period, they did him, they did Ruth, they didn't do a lot of guys.
Yes.
Only the best of the best, and that one here, of Gehrig, it's just amazing.
All right, and you've got one of the most iconic
The babe
photos
bows
of all
out. It's kind of sad in a way.
Here as well.
What's that?
Which is
oh
in here
yes,
as well.
And kind of sad in a way, but the last time he was there, or when they honored him at least, and the nice thing on this is you got Ruth kind of hunched over. You have Yankee Stadium in the background here. It's just such an iconic photo from, even though that it's from the back, it's such a poignant photo of Ruth and.
Well, and a great story behind it is that Nat Fain, the famed photographer who took it, he was taking photographs of something else when the crowd of photographers that you could see in the shot gathered there because they wanted to get Ruth from the front. And he didn't want to just have the same shot everyone else did.
Oh, that everybody else
So he
had.
moved around to the back, and it is such a perfect image. They were retiring his number, so you get the 3 in there. You can really see from this angle in what bad shape he's in. He's using the bat as a crutch.
Yep.
And you can just see the angle that he's standing at. And then you've got the crowd in the shot as well, which of course it was a sellout. And you've got all the photographers and the players there. So it's just an incredibly moving image. And again, very interesting that nobody else had this angle, and this is the one that ends up winning the Pulitzer Prize. All right, up next is Oh, yes. Great display piece here. There's many moments in baseball history that are a little fuzzy about what actually happened. Babe Ruth's called shot, for instance. Or did Sam Rice hold the ball when he tumbled into the outfield seats in Game 3 of the 25 World Series? You remember that, Tony?
Yes, absolutely. I was going to bring that up.
But Ty Cobb spiking home run Baker is one of those events. People love that story because Ty Cobb has this reputation that he was dangerous and evil even. And this is the story people always bring up. So this is a framed display piece. You've got the signed photo of the incident and then a handwritten letter from Cobb where he's contesting what actually happened. So amazing content. And it says, the picture I send is of the so-called Baker spiking, which I was so unfairly accused of by a drunken sports writer, Horace Vogel, that's amazing, on some Philadelphia paper. This play was in Detroit, so he writes a lurid story ready to arouse the fans in Philly, so when Detroit came there next, it would boost the attendance. This has been a practice by the unscrupulous writers. I have always resented this deeply, and the play happened in 1909, 46 years ago, and it's still referred to now. Very few, not more than 6 people, have a reprint of this play, so you are now one of them. And if you take a look, the Georgia Peach has a point. In the reprint of that famous image, Cobb's spikes are clearly past Baker's arms, belaying the reports that he had opened up a wound there as the Hall of Fame infielder applied the tag. So it looks like Cobb was right in this photo, and I love his language about the sports writers. Whatever you think about Cobb, it is accurate that he hated sports writers.
He didn't like a lot of people, I don't think.
And
but
he calls him a drunken sports writer in there. But great display piece. It's 3 handwritten pages from Cobb, of course, in his green ink, and incredible content, obviously. Is like Paul Bunyan now. He's like a mythic hero. You can't even believe that he lived and the things he actually did. And his most folkloric moment is the called shot in the 1932 World Series. So Babe Ruth, did he do it? What do you think, Tony? Did he call his shot?
I mean, Ruth always. Let's just say he did.
Okay.
I mean, it's such.
It's
you know,
a great
he hit the
story.
first home run in the All-Star game. He opened up Yankee Stadium with a home run.
Yes.
I mean, maybe it didn't happen, but it's a great story at least.
Lou Gehrig said of it, he told reporters, what do you think the nerve of that big monkey? Imagine the guy calling his shot and getting away with it. There's always some friction there. Chicago, so Charlie Root, the Cubs pitcher, is who he hit it off of.
He said he didn't, right?
Babe Herman recounted a conversation between Ruth and Root on the set of the famous Lou Gehrig biopic, The Pride of the Yankees. Root said, you never pointed out to center field when you hit that ball off me, did you? And Ruth said, I know I didn't, but it made a hell of a splash. So Babe Herman said that conversation took place. We'll never know. But this is a Babe Ruth, Charlie Root signed baseball. So the author of that home run and the victim of that home run. And PSA, the experts at PSA tell us they've never seen a Ruth and Root alone together on any other item. This is the only one in existence, and it's a baseball, which is fantastic. And they signed right next to each other.
I wonder who signed it first.
I gotta wonder that too.
It had to be Ruth first, and then
we've had it on display in our gallery, and you can display it so that you can see both signatures as well. Very cool piece of baseball history there. Beat that, Tony.
I don't know if I can quite beat that, but we do have one of the nicest Cy Young single-sign baseballs I've ever seen. And this one's on a side panel, graded by Beckett. Autograph grade was a 9. And, he's one of those guys you just don't see a lot of singles from. You'll see him on other mediums, but have a great, great single of him, and one of the nicest I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's an incredible
It
one.
is gorgeous, gorgeous.
So I got another amazing Babe Ruth story with this next item here. It's a 1940s Babe Ruth signed photo. So no big deal, right? Nothing interesting about that. It's a beautiful image.
He signed a few.
Beautiful signature. but this is signed to his former mistress and the biological mother of his daughter, Dorothy. So things were a little different back then, and players had a little more privacy. So, so he signed it. Let me get to the story here. All right. So, Dorothy, who was his biological daughter, published an autobiography entitled "My Dad, the Babe," breaking the news. This is in 1988 that the legendary slugger was in fact her father. Neither of Ruth's wives ever knew the truth that the little girl that Ruth convinced his first wife, Helen, to adopt had been the product of an affair between the babe and a woman named Juanita Jennings in 1920. Now, Jennings would later marry one of Ruth's good friends, a man named Charlie Elias. Dorothy was devastated when the woman she believed was her mother perished in a house fire in 1929, and Ruth quickly married Claire Merritt, who became Dorothy's stepmother and a close friend of Juanita, who silently and painfully watched her daughter grow up without her. It was on Juanita's deathbed in 1980 that she revealed the shocking truth to Dorothy 4 years after Claire's passing. So, this one, the inscription reads, "My 60th home run to Juanita and Charles." Charles was his friend that Juanita married. "Sincerely, Babe Ruth, 1927. So this he signed to Juanita, who was his mistress and the mother of Dorothy, his biological daughter. Beautiful image and autograph, and then you get to tell that whole story if you have that hanging up there, which is wild.
There's a lot going on right there.
Did not become public until 1988. Yeah, great
that's
piece.
a unique one.
All right, Tony.
All right, two of the best guys in their fields, Michael Jordan and Derek Jeter.
Oh.
That's when I saw this was the first time I've ever seen them.
Guys.
Two Nike guys signing the same piece. I've seen Jordan and Tiger and Jordan and other guys. That's the first time I've ever seen Jordan and Jeter together on an item. Yeah, and I just thought that was kind of a unique piece to
Very
bring
cool.
up. Absolutely.
All right. Well, Tony, why don't you hit a few more on the big board? We just passed the 30-minute barrier.
All right. Hey, Mickey Mantle, $3.5 million just hit.
The
Wow.
58 jersey that we
Good
talked about
Lord.
at the top of the show. An unreal example. No surprise there that it's doing so well. It's the earliest all-original pinstripe Mantle gamer.
Just a
that's
couple
known.
more. Tiger Woods, $35,000. Here's one that just shocks me to this day. 1979, Ozzie Smith, Gem Mint 10, $125,000.
Wow.
That is incredible. Super Bowl II ball, $30,000. Gordie Howe, $39,000. So a lot of action right now. I got a feeling we're going to be up late tonight.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Get
So-
the beef jerky. Get all the stuff. We'll stay up.
So thank you to, first and foremost, all of our consigners and bidders. Consigners, thank you for trusting us with your treasures. Bidders, good luck tonight and tomorrow. And thank you to the staff of dozens that help us put on this show.
One in particular is really
so
good.
complicated. There are so many ins and outs. You got to do Tony's hair. You got to do my wardrobe. All of everything. So all of you back there, I mean, we're surrounded by a dozen people holding the lights and everything. Great best boy, great grip over there. Thank you so much. And for staying up late, we really appreciate it for our video team. And thank you to our operations team, the best in the business, that handles all of the treasures and makes sure they are treated with the utmost respect. And don't forget, we've got session 2 tomorrow, over 1,000 items, some incredible items in there as well. And you have until 10 p.m. Central Time tomorrow to bid on those. And of course, if you would like your items hey, great spending time with you too, Jay, thank you. If you would like your items presented the way only Heritage can, Tony, how can the people reach out to you?
Tony G at ha.com, 214-409-1997. Call me anytime. I'll be in Cincinnati next weekend, I'll be in Cincinnati the following Thursday for consignments, and then I'll be at the Burbank show as well.
Yeah,
So
we'll be at the Burbank show.
we're
You get
starting
a
to
chance
travel
to meet
again.
Joe Orlando at the Burbank show as well.
And bring any of your game use bats.
Yeah, he'll tell you
He
everything
will tell
about
you
them.
anything you want to know about them.
So everyone have a great night. Good luck in the auction, and we'll see you next time.